Matzek. This is Wisconsin's Midday News for Thursday, May 22nd. Your top story, an inmate found dead in the Milwaukee County Jail.
I'm Jessica Tighe. A private plane crashes, damaging at least 10 homes.
Well, shouldn't be much in terms of rain today. Mostly cloudy skies with a high of 54 degrees. Partly cloudy, a little chilly tonight. Low of 41, 37 inland. Back into the mid-50s on Friday. Should see a little bit more sun. It is 50 and mostly cloudy in Milwaukee. At 12:02 from the WTMJ breaking newsroom, an inmate at the Milwaukee County Jail is dead following a medical emergency. Just before 8 o'clock last night, a corrections officer was alerted to a man who was unconscious. Despite life-saving measures, the inmate died about 30 minutes later. The 33-year-old man had been in custody since late November on a single felony charge for possession of meth. The Waukesha County Sheriff's Office is leading the investigation.
Milwaukee Public Schools, MPS, is at risk of losing more state aid for once again being late with financial reports.
DPI officials say MPS had until May 16th to provide information on its 2024 fiscal year auditor aid certification and auditor fund balance, as well as the 2024 fiscal year annual report. Already $16 million in state funding for special education is being withheld from last year. DPI says if both reports, including the 2024 fiscal year audited financial report, are not delivered by May 30th, more state financial aid will be withheld. Shaw Brenda, WTMJ News.
Meanwhile, MMAC President Dale Koinga says if the district were a Fortune 500 company, people would be in jail.
A public company just said we're going to miss earnings. Like they would eventually, their stock would go down. They would be delisted. There would be criminal charges possibly from the SEC and or civil fines and prosecution. So yeah, if this is a public company, there would be a massive loss in wealth and market cap. There would be civil and criminal actions taken by the SEC.
The final deadline for MPS to submit those financial records to the state is May 30th.
A federal judge in Boston blocks the Trump administration's efforts to dismantle the Department of Education. ABC's Devin Dwyer has the update.
The judge saying basically that the Trump administration can't dismantle an agency without an act of Congress. Congress created the agency so that this is yet again another, if temporary, setback for the Trump administration delivered by an individual judge in a district court case, at least for now, slowing down efforts to overhaul the federal government here in Washington.
Multiple people on a private plane that crashed into a San Diego neighborhood are dead. Authorities could not confirm the total number of people on the plane. The aircraft crashed just before 4 this morning into the U.S. military's largest housing neighborhood, hitting at least one home directly and smashing through half a dozen vehicles. About 10 homes were damaged. It's unclear right now if the plane hit any power lines.
Time for news about your money. The WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Some mixed results here today with the Dow currently down about 25 points at 41,836. NASDAQ up 75 at 18,948. And the S&P 500 off just about 3. It's been kind of bouncing back and forth. Currently about 2.5 points, we'll call it, in the red at 58.41. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Financial planning at every level. For details, visit annexwealth.com.
Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Outdoor Living Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 12:05.
Your Pella experience starts with a free in-home consultation.
It was a really comfortable kitchen table chat. We knew Pella was going to get it right the first time, and they designed a project with us. They didn't just replace our windows and doors.
There are so many options that are available, so it was nice to have someone narrow those down, and they made sure that the design was what we wanted.
Don't wait. Get 0% financing for up to 6 years. Visit PellaWI.com today.
Certain restrictions apply. It's 5/31/2025.
Here's to time out on the water in Wisconsin. To living your best life while enjoying the lake life.
Ready?
And getting up on a wakeboard the very first try. Or not. Here's to wearing only swimsuits and wishing this perfect day would never end. Here's to those who Wisconsin. Start your summer getaway at travelwisconsin.com.
Save on the best quality furniture and mattresses during the Memorial Day sale at Ken Michaels Furniture. With major discounts from our premier suppliers, you will save big bucks on top brands like Bradington Young, made in the foothills of the Great Smoky Mountains. Bradington Young is known for its fine quality leather upholstery. Fjords brings you modern Scandinavian designed recliners and sofas, ergonomically engineered for more hip and back support. Norwalk, with American roots that go back over 100 years, specializes in making furniture just for you. Choose the piece, style, fabric, or leather you want, and in just 35 days, we'll deliver your new sofa, chair, or sectional. In-stock or special orders are all sale priced. Need a little help putting it all together? At Ken Michaels Furniture, our design staff is ready to help you with your purchases. And it's free. Stop in today and save during our Memorial Day sale at Ken Michaels Furniture on Capitol Drive in Brookfield, Highway 100 in Greenfield, or our downtown Mattress Factory showroom.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports Desk. After taking 2 of 3 against the Orioles in Milwaukee, the Brewers begin a 4-game series against the Pirates tonight in Pittsburgh, weather permitting.
We're having a plan, potentially for a doubleheader tomorrow as well, but, you always got to go into the day trying to be prepared for that day, and so we'll be ready to go, but right now, it's not looking great at the moment.
And that's Brewers GM Matt Arnold, a guest on Wisconsin's Morning News earlier today. Coverage of tonight's game scheduled to begin at 5:05. Brewers will be back home for Memorial Day to face the Red Sox. Packers quarterback Jordan Love will throw out the first pitch before that game. Packers begin organized team activities May 27th in Green Bay.
Checking out the roads with your WTMJ Time Saver traffic. We have a new incident in Kenosha County, 4194 North at County KR. The right lane is closed. What they're calling an incident, I went to go check out the cameras for you to see exactly what it is. But the stream for the 2 nearby cameras has been killed there, so I cannot see anything right now. But I do want to let you know that I am seeing just on the map a delay around that. Once again, this is an incident, a new one, 4194 North at County KR. Other than that, a couple disabled vehicles out of the system. I-94 West at the ramp from County SS. The right shoulder is blocked due to a car that's broken down there. That's over in the Pewaukee area in Waukesha County. Also, what's this new one that just popped up at 12:05? I-94 West at 35th Street. Expect lane closures due to some debris on the road. There's some stuff out on the road. They've got to clean that up. Once again, that's a new one. I-94 West at 35th Street. I also want to let you know 41, the problematic area that we have seen every day recently because of the construction. We have seen delays. That's definitely the case again today. The delays on 41 in Milwaukee County start around Mill Road this afternoon and go all the way down to the Mayfair area.
Traffic is sponsored by Angela Calais and Benefit Realty.
At Benefit Realty, pay only 3.5 to 3.9% real estate commission and get all the service that you should. Benefit Realty, you pay less for full service. Benefit-realty.com.
Mostly cloudy this afternoon, a high of 54 degrees. Partly cloudy and chilly tonight, a low of 37 inland. Friday, partly cloudy, warm up to 60 degrees. Saturday's high, 63. Sunday's high, 64. Partly cloudy skies. No rain in the forecast for the rest of the week and weekend. It's 50 and cloudy in Milwaukee at 12:09.
Live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios in downtown Milwaukee, it's Wisconsin's Midday News, making stories come to life. Now, here are your hosts, Greg Matzek and Jessica Tighe.
Well, we had a day off yesterday due to Brewers baseball. We are back. Greg and Jessica with you till 3 o'clock this afternoon. We do have Brewers baseball tonight, we think. I texted my friend Lane Grindle, who is in Pittsburgh. He believes there will be a game tonight, so we trust him. He is on the ground, but looks a little dicey in that area. A lot of the rain we've got over the last couple of days moving east and potentially affecting Brewers baseball tonight. A lot of big stories that we're covering here as we hit 12:10 on a Thursday.
It's now at noon on Wisconsin's Midday News.
A visitation service is now sent for the UW-Platteville student who was shot and killed inside a dorm this week. They're calling it a visitation of remembrance for Kelsey Martin. The service is next Friday in Beloit. That's Martin's hometown. Meanwhile, we're also learning more about the 22-year-old. Martin was a 2021 graduate of F.J. Turner High School. She had just graduated summa cum laude from Platteville over the weekend. Martin was very smart, a member of the National Honor Society in Psychology and the National Society of Leaders. She was also the Assistant Resident Director and President of the Psychology Club. Her plan was to pursue a Master's of Social Work at the University of Wisconsin-Whitewater come fall. Martin's obituary says she was the sweetest and a true ray of sunshine who will be deeply missed. She was everything good in this world. Police say Martin was shot and killed in Wilgus Hall on Monday. She died after being rushed to UW Hospital in Madison. Investigators say the other student involved, 22-year-old Hallie Helms of Baraboo, died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. No one else was involved. No word yet on a possible motive.
Well, millions of Americans getting a jump on the Memorial Day weekend today, loading up the cars, maybe boarding an airplane bound for holiday destinations.
According to booking site Hopper, airfares are averaging $258 round trip, a slight rise from last year. Meanwhile, gas prices are about 40 cents below Memorial Day of 2024. The net result, says Aixa Diaz of AAA.
People might be staying a little bit closer to home this year. Maybe they'll take a road trip to the beach or to their local lake or to the mountain.
1 million more people will be on the road for this Memorial Day compared to last. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
Could definitely see some of the impact there driving in this morning, just a lot less volume. There was some traffic, but nowhere near what I would experience on a normal day. Average price of a gallon of unleaded around the country expected to be $3.08 on Memorial Day, according to Gas Buddy. Last year it was $3.58 for those keeping score at home. Average cost of a gallon in Wisconsin, $3.03. So a little more economical if you're hitting the road here this holiday weekend.
We'll take the decrease. Well, starting today, pharmacies can no longer make cheaper generic versions of weight loss drugs like Ozempic and Wegovy. They were allowed to before today due to short supply.
Dr. Celine Gounder says there were big safety concerns.
These are these knockoff counterfeit versions
that are made with research-grade semaglutide that isn't sterile or even.
There have been cases where they have found insulin. If you give yourself a shot of insulin, that can put you in a coma. That can kill you.
So what do patients do now? She says check with your doctor for a possible copay card. You can pay out of pocket or
you can switch to an older version of the GLP-1 drugs called liraglutide. It's cheaper, but it's also less effective.
Stacey Lynn, CBS News.
Okay, so on the same day this federal deadline arrives, the Danish drug maker Novo Nordisk just announced it's temporarily reducing the price of the weight loss drug Wegovy for new customers because it's trying to limit sales of the compounded versions. While pharmacies can no longer make those cheaper versions, there's obviously still a supply out there that can be bought.
Interesting. Coming up next, the Wisconsin Policy Forum just released a report about youth justice that was commissioned by the Greater Milwaukee Committee. President Joel Brennan joins us in studio after this. Now at noon is sponsored by Flanners Home Entertainment. Check them out online at flanners.com. Flanners Home Entertainment. Sound advice at the best price. Just press play.
Does music matter to you? Flanners Home Entertainment wants to help you have the best music experience at home. They've got high-quality products, the best prices, and high-fidelity expertise for the best sound in and outside your home. Now is a great time to shop Flanners with our Music Matters sale event. All speakers, all amplifiers, receivers, turntables, CD players, music streamers, and accessories are on sale. Visit Flanners Home Entertainment today in West Allis, Grafton, or at flanners.com. Sound advice at the best price. Flanners. Just press play.
Whether you're a local who wants to enjoy a night out or you're planning to visit Milwaukee, enjoy an artfully stylish experience at St. Kate the Arts Hotel, conveniently located in the heart of downtown Milwaukee's Theater District. With deluxe accommodations, culinary creativity, on-site art galleries, artist in residence, and nightly live music, you'll enjoy every element of your stay at St. Kate. Learn more and book your stay at stkatearts.com.
I'm WTMJ's Sandy Max. What makes senior living at Three Pillars so special? Let's hear from my friend Marilyn.
The staff is fabulous. They feel as much like friends as the people that live there. We go to lunch at the cafe, book talk at 1, team trivia at 2, bags at 3, and then it's dinner time. That's a typical Tuesday. Three Pillars, in one word, happiness. It's a gorgeous campus.
Schedule a tour today at threepillars.org.
Well, not the warmest of days, but certainly not the wettest either. Mostly cloudy today. It's 50 degrees right now in Milwaukee. Not going to get much warmer, up to 53 today. 57 the high, a little bit further inland. Overnight low of 37 degrees. Going to be chilly. Might need the heat on tonight. Tomorrow looks like a high of 60 degrees under partly cloudy skies. 50 and cloudy in Milwaukee at 12:15. Joining us in studio, as he does every Thursday about 12:15, Greater Milwaukee Committee President, freshly hair-trimmed, Joel Brennan joining us. Hello, Joel.
Nice to see you.
Hey, haircut looks nice, really nice.
Thank you. Well, it's graduation weekend for my son, so I couldn't have him, them seeing me with unshorn.
Okay. You had to look sharp, too. Looking good.
Yeah. He got a haircut, too. Let's make sure you know it.
Fair enough. Well, I'm sure that taco dip will taste great here this weekend for graduation. And the Wisconsin Policy Forum just released a report about youth justice. The Greater Milwaukee Committee assisted in this report. What were the findings? What did the report yield?
Yeah, part of this is an effort we've been underway with the Policy Forum over the last couple of years to really start to dig in on justice issues in Milwaukee. We did one for the adult population about a year and a half ago, and this one is around youth justice. And really, the findings are a couple things. One, we all know that during and immediately after the pandemic, a lot of the crime statistics really shot up. And for youth justice, very similar. There were more referrals in 2021 than there had been maybe at any time since they've been keeping track of this. And then they started leveling off a little bit. And so in 2024, the most recent year that we have statistics for, the number of referrals, which is youth going into the system, is about the same as what it was in 2018. So, from that standpoint, about the same number of, if you're using that as a measurement of crime, about the same. Now, the difference is that the numbers for the felonies are much more significant than they were in 2018. So, about the same overall, but the number of what we would say are the more violent crimes, the armed robberies, homicide, those things amongst youth have increased during that time. So, kind of a mixed bag for where we are. And part of the reason why we've been doing this with the Policy Forum, and there are others involved, is where does this take us from a public policy standpoint? What are we doing? The county over the last several years has many more diversion programs. We're keeping more kids here, closer to Milwaukee, as opposed to sending them off to Lincoln Hills. But one of the other outcomes of this is that we aren't necessarily, and by we, Milwaukee County, us in general, we aren't necessarily doing as good a job as we could in measuring how these changes really, the impact that they've had. So that's one of the policy, I think, directives from this is to work with the county, work with the new DA, and really try to measure how well we're doing with some of these alternative programs that I think have had success, but we haven't necessarily been able to demonstrate that as much as we can.
Now that you have all of this information, is there something that the Greater Milwaukee Committee would like to see done, or do you not know that just yet?
I don't think we know just when we've just in receiving these things. I would tell you that the Policy Forum, for my money, is about as good as we have had, and nationally has gotten awards for its unbiased, nonpartisan evaluation of things. But oftentimes as a community, that's where it ends. We don't take the baton from them and then say, okay, here are the things that we need to do. Yeah. So I think what we will do, we have a group of probably 15 to 20 GMC members and other community stakeholders who've been meeting over the last year and a half. Ernell Lucas, the former sheriff, helps head this up along with Dan Bader from Bader Philanthropy. So we will gather that group back together and have other stakeholders at the table and just kind of, start to figure out where does this take us in terms of what we need to do for public policy. We all know that there are challenges. A lot of the work that we've been doing in law enforcement has been boosted by some federal support from the America Rescue Plan Act over the last several years. The county, the city have put money into that. Well, that money is all going away no matter what at the end of 2026. And we're also facing a time of disruption at the federal level where there may be fewer dollars to go around. So being able to measure these things better and being able to demonstrate the effectiveness is going to be really important as we look for what comes next.
Joel Brennan joining us in studio, president of the Greater Milwaukee Committee. We went through some of the numbers here, the economic impact of the RNC. I'm not sure how you view economic impact numbers. To me, it's sort of $321 million for the RNC. I'd like to think and growing, because there might be somebody who comes back to the state of Wisconsin saying, we had a really nice time, got to play some golf, and I really want to see more. So measuring the total impact, I think, comes down the road. But what do you make of the numbers and how it was spent?
Yeah, I think there are some numbers that stick out. One, the hoteliers, for them, this is a true home run. When you're getting an average daily rate, I think it was about $350, like something like that is a bonanza for them. And that trickles down to the rest of the economy. I think the overall, and I think you hit the nail on the head, Greg, about this is, when they did this in Cleveland, when they did it, I think it was about 10 years ago, but looking over the course of that 10 years that they were able to demonstrate how many more meeting planners looked at Cleveland that hadn't before, looked at the ability of a community like that to do a big event here. And so, I do think that the effect of this is going to have some repercussions in a positive way for the next 10 years. And where there was some frustration, I think it was because it was so centrally located in the central business district, and there was some security that really didn't allow everybody to get out and enjoy the entirety of the community. I think that's what other events of this size and scale, but without the national attention and without the overlay of all the security that an RNC has, like those are the things that can really be beneficial for the community moving forward. So, I think it demonstrates the effectiveness of the new Baird Center, the effect that the Fiserv Forum has had. Like these are things that can be economic drivers, and the one of the great benefits is all of these people who were here, they came from out of town. It was not a lot of moving around and redistributing, our money, yours and mine, of what we do downtown and in the community. It was new money. And I think that's what the convention business can do and the tourism business can do, is take net new revenue and inject it into the community. And we will get better at doing these things. I think the execution of it was great. And overall, again, still, despite some of the mixed reviews coming out of it, I think over the long term, people are going to see that this was hugely beneficial for Milwaukee.
Without a doubt. One of the other big things we haven't talked to you about yet is the Milwaukee Art Museum director stepping down. I know you had so much work with Discovery World. You understand, these head people, how big of a deal it is for each of the facilities. How big of a deal is this that she's stepping down at the Art Museum?
I think it's any time that there is a change in leadership at one of the big players in town, and in the the museum sector, the Art Museum has kind of always been the 800-pound gorilla. Now, Marcelle didn't exactly treat it that way. She treated her peers with a great deal of respect and did a lot for the sector. She has done a lot, I think, inside the museum. Her focus is on the art, on the product. She's been no stranger to a little bit of controversy and been able to push the envelope in certain ways, and I think that's good for the community. I'm sad. I reached out to her, when this was announced, and just said, I think she's attacked the job with passion. She's been gracious. She's been a partner in the community, and I just hope whoever her successor is, whether it's somebody inside the Art Museum or from outside Milwaukee, does the same thing, because that the building is an icon in the community. It's been here now for 25 plus years, and it helped put Milwaukee on the map too. But there are lots of things in the sector that need attention, and the Art Museum can help with that.
And she's been there for a long time. Since
about
2016.
a decade. Yep.
It's not uncommon for a museum to get a bit of a refresh, but it's kind of an interesting time in Milwaukee where everything is getting refreshed or with new leadership. You think about Discovery World, the new name for the Milwaukee Public Museum, the grand unveiling to come. New leadership will be installed at the Art Museum. Like everything is sort of trying to expand. And
Betty Brinn is looking for a new home. Yeah, so but I think that's part of the overall, having worked in that sector, and worked at Discovery World for more than a decade myself. That building's been around now for 20 years, if you can believe it, or almost 20 years. It needs to be refreshed. They're doing some work with a new exhibit that's related to water. They're redoing the Caribbean exhibit in the aquarium. So, one of the constants when you work in that business is, what's new? What is it that I haven't seen yet if I'm a consumer? And you've got to be able to attract those. And as a community, I think what's great about our community is they continue to have investment from partners that are going to keep elevating what we've got here.
The aquarium, such a special spot over there. My sister got married at Discovery World, and I remember as we were taking pictures, it was like, we got to keep going because they only had it open for people for so long, and to be able to take pictures, we got to get the bride and groom over there. Got to get them to get that lovely picture of, you see the aquarium and all the fish are above them swimming. It's just a special spot.
Yeah, you can imagine. I mentioned that this is graduation weekend for my son, and my kids, by the end of this weekend, will have both graduated from from high school, but they kind of grew up around Discovery World. Imagine having that as like your plaything, that aquarium to be able to run around.
What a blast.
Those kids were pretty lucky, I would say.
That is pretty cool. I'm wondering if Deep Thought is going to end up in any one of our museums here in down Milwaukee. Just a piece of it, something.
It's in pieces now.
Something.
The guy who pulled that out was at Rotary. I watched him this week give a talk about taking that out. It's now down in a salvage yard on the south side somewhere, is what he said. You can go take a picture with it, on
I'm sure
dry
some people
land,
are. Yeah.
Always good to connect with Joel Brennan, president of the Greater Milwaukee Committee. Enjoy your graduation weekend.
Great to be with you guys.
You bet. 12:25 in WTMJ News and national headlines coming up.
Get the help you need from How To Radio. Saturday mornings on WTMJ. At 7, it's the WTMJ Fix-It Show with David Nason, featuring this week's guests, Dimension Design Build Remodel and CertaPro Painters. At 9, plan your dream vacation with the Fox World Travel Show. And at 10, get financial guidance during Money Talk. Contact NX Wealth Management for an unbiased review of your investments at nxwealth.com. Saturday mornings on WTMJ.
Hey, Greg Matzek here. I want to tell you a story about Horicon Bank doing banking differently for over 100 years. Let that settle in for a second. Horicon Bank doing banking differently since 1896. That's the year that they opened their doors in Horicon, founded by inventors, fueled by community, and focused on business. They do banking differently. They are expanding, but they've not lost that community-minded feel. They provide top-notch products to meet your cash flow needs. Service and products go hand-to-hand, and financing requests can be approved in days, not weeks. Horicon Bank understands you and your business, plain and simple. Together, doing good. That is the vision of Horicon Bank, committed to doing what it takes to help your business. Horicon Bank, truly the natural choice. Member FDIC.
Meet Alan, who was diagnosed with sleep apnea.
I was what they call a mouth breather, and I would breathe at night with my mouth open.
And for about 8 years, Alan struggled with a CPAP machine. And then
I saw the Advent commercial, and I thought, well, what do you got to lose? This machine is miserable.
For most people, CPAP machines are miserable. But a simple in-office solution from Advent can be life-changing.
And it really was, to me, it was amazing because I don't think I ever breathed that clear.
This is Dr. Badhan Kandula. After having one of Advent's simple in-office procedures, people are amazed at how freely and clearly they can breathe.
I'm happy with the procedure. I'm very glad I did it. I wish I would have done it 20 years ago. I could have avoided that machine I had to have laying next to the bed with the hose wrapped around my head.
Schedule your appointment at adventknows.com because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better. AdventKnows.com. Most insurance accepted.
And now about your house. It's where you live, but do you also live in your yard? My friends at Outdoor Living Unlimited help people extend their home, living beyond the wall. Your imagination may be somewhat limited, so let's call on Eric Brown, president of Outdoor Living Unlimited, to expand upon it.
I'm confident that 90% of the listeners can look outside their home and dream of a better, nicer, way more outstanding backyard. If you're one of the many, you'll need to call Outdoor Living Unlimited. Outdoor Living Unlimited's expert team can design a beautiful, functional, usable backyard space. Then our team can build it. You dream it, we build it. New deck, outdoor kitchen, pavers, retaining wall, screen room. How about a must-see automated pergola that doubles as a screen room? Picture this, a pergola that allows the sunlight through the slats, but with the press of a button, those slats close and now you have protection. Another press of the button and the screens roll down. There's your screen room. The ideas are endless. We recently built a brand new deck with a screen room pergola on top and stairs that lead to a paver oasis complete with a fire pit and seat walls. Amazing. New deck, outdoor kitchen, screen room, automated pergola. Let Outdoor Living Unlimited design and build the amazing backyard. Find us at OutdoorLivingUnlimited.com.
See all the cool things that Outdoor Living Unlimited can do for your yard on their Instagram page, or visit their unique outside-in showroom in Waukesha. And if you're looking outside of your home, dreaming of a more beautiful and functional, usable backyard, well, Outdoor Living Unlimited can design and build you an amazing showstopper of a deck, patio, complete with pergola and fire pit, just like they did for us. With expert care, Outdoor Living Unlimited installed a beautiful paver patio, complete with land and stone retaining wall, all sorts of space, room for a built-in kitchen, and complete with a gas fire pit. It's where we spend all of our time. Visit OutdoorLivingUnlimited.com. I'm Greg Matzek. This is Wisconsin's Midday News. Your top story, requesting better security for City Hall.
I'm Jessica Tighe. Double-digit tornadoes in one night in Wisconsin.
Cloudy and 50 degrees in Milwaukee at 12:30.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. In San Diego, authorities say at least 2 people are dead after a small private plane crashed into a neighborhood. ABC's Jacqueline Lee is on scene.
More than 100 people displaced. They believe so far a Cessna 550 plane crashed into one of the largest military housing areas in the entire world. Think of it this way. This jet fuel starts spilling out from this plane. It goes all down the street and then it all catches on fire. So then all of the cars are on fire and there are more than 100 people that are having to escape from their homes to try to get out.
One man is in custody, police say, after a shooting. 2 Israeli embassy staffers leaving an event at a Capital Jewish Museum event last night. The FBI reviewing the shooter's online writings. Attorney General Pam Bondi says investigation so far shows the shooter acted alone. A federal judge in Boston has halted the Trump administration's plans to dismantle the education department. This is ABC News.
Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time is 12:31. Changes could be coming to security protocol at Milwaukee City Hall following an evacuation of the complex last week.
I don't have any confidence that we are prepared.
It was only a slammed door, but perceived gunfire at the Zeidler building prompted the City Hall complex to be evacuated, and it led to a lot of confusion.
It was just a lot of conflicting information.
I had to alert my assistant to tell her to stay in the office and lock the doors.
Council members at a Public Safety Committee meeting Thursday asking for more concise information, and Public Works head Gerald Kreschke says they can incorporate more email, text alerts, and voice alerts.
That's what should have happened, and it did not.
Eric Bilstead, WTMJ News.
As Milwaukee Public Schools MPS continues its lead remediation, City Health Commissioner Dr. Michael Todoritis is sounding the alarm on lack of federal support.
2 months after CDC lead experts left Milwaukee, Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. claimed at a Senate hearing that the agency was still involved in the MPS lead crisis.
We have a team in Milwaukee, and we're working with the Health Department of Milwaukee.
But Health Commissioner Todoritis refuted that, telling CBS Evening News on Wednesday he hasn't heard from the CDC and that federal support for local health departments is declining.
We are going to be in a very difficult position as public health leaders across the country responding to the mandates that we hold to protect our jurisdictions.
Sean Brinda, WTMJ News.
A teenager in Racine faces homicide charges in the death of his brother.
16-year-old Pedro Sauceda faces 1 count of first-degree reckless homicide. His 11-year-old brother, Jesus Chucho Valladares, died of a gunshot wound on Friday. A criminal complaint says the 2 brothers play-fought with an unloaded gun dozens of times. But on Friday, the gun was loaded, a family member intending to fire it during a visit to the cemetery. Sauceda told investigators he was playing with the gun when his brother attempted to take it away, knowing that Sauceda was not supposed to handle firearms. He's in custody on $150,000 cash bond. Jessica Gatso, WTMJ News.
Wisconsin will start testing for bird flu in cows. The order is part of a new USDA requirement to help identify the highly contagious bird flu in the nation's dairy herds. Dairy farmers will submit a milk sample each month for testing. So far, Wisconsin has not had any signs of bird flu in dairy cows.
The National Weather Service officially confirms 15 tornadoes in Wisconsin from last Thursday's storms. 2 of the strongest storms hit Juneau and Mayville in Dodge County, both rated as an EF2. Both storms had peak winds at 120 miles per hour, tracking a total of just 20 miles on the ground in both communities. There were 4 additional EF1 tornadoes reported in Dodge County. No one was injured in Wisconsin in any of the storms.
Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Outdoor Living Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 12:34.
WTMJ's Vince Vitrano talking with Dr. Mike Nolte at Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Doc, a lot of people are hesitant to visit a surgeon for spine care.
The good news is that the vast majority of patients that I see and the majority of conditions that I can see can be successfully treated without surgery. And I don't want patients to think that just because you're seeing a spine surgeon means that you're going to be signing up for surgery. We talk about in my clinic kind of a plan A, a plan B, and a plan C.
Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin, there is a difference. orthowisconsin.com.
A Brewers Group outing is the best way to celebrate any special occasion. Whether it's a birthday party, anniversary, or bachelor party, baseball is better with the group. Grab your crew of just 15 or more for an event you won't forget. Brewers account reps make your day at the ballpark a breeze. Plus, get set up with customizable tailgate spaces, seating blocks in your favorite location at American Family Field, and much more. Start planning your group outing now at brewers.com/groups.
It's WTMJ's Debbie Loziga for Comfort Awnings. You've heard me talk about the wonderful retractable awning the team at Comfort Awnings installed at my home. Well, spring is here, and it's the perfect time for you to get an awning installed on your porch, deck, or patio just in time for the beautiful weather. Comfort Awnings is a local family-owned company in Burlington that provides expert installation in southeast Wisconsin and northern Illinois. Right now, you can receive $150 off your purchase. Call 414-AWNINGS or visit comfortawnings.com to learn more.
At Blaine's Farm and Fleet, we've been family-owned for 70 years, helping Midwest farms and families make the most of their money. So you can trust we'll always have the supplies you need at unbeatable farm and fleet prices. Like 20,000 feet of bale-bind baler twine, just $21.99. $90 off an Edsel welded storage rack. And assorted Rust-Oleum farm and implement paint, 15% off. Find value on the things you value. Blaine's Farm and Fleet. Be an original.
Time for WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call, That's All Sports Desk. It's a short road trip here for the Brewers. 4 games in Pittsburgh before returning home for Memorial Day in a series against the Boston Red Sox. Will they get the game in tonight?
We're having a plan, potentially for a doubleheader tomorrow as well. But, you always got to go into the day trying to be prepared for that day. And so we'll be ready to go. But right now, it's not looking great at the moment.
That's Brewers GM Matt Arnold. Coverage scheduled to begin at 5:05 tonight. Rain in the area could delay things or maybe even postpone. Brewers will be back home from Memorial Day, as I mentioned. Packers quarterback Jordan Love will throw out the first pitch before that game. Packers begin organized team activities May 27th in Green Bay.
Checking out the roads with your WTMJ Time Saver traffic. We do have an update here for you. I'm looking down in Kenosha County. I-41 94 north at County KR. The right lane is closed to what they're calling an incident. And earlier, as soon as this popped up, I let you know that they had killed the stream for the camera, so I couldn't see what was going on. But I can tell you right now that the cameras are back up, and I see 2 things. One, as I take a peek, there are numerous squad cars out there. Possibly some stop sticks. Kind of need some binoculars to see that. It looks like it could be stop sticks. I'll see if we can get the newsroom to make a phone call on this right now as I'm taking a peek on this. But we've got numerous squad cars out there. You've got officers out there, and there is a significant backup. Once again, this is I-41 94 north at County KR. Right lane is closed for whatever exactly is going on. Maybe they found somebody they were looking for and they stopped them. A significant backup right now, and this does not look like something that is going to end anytime soon. Other than that, we're looking pretty good for the most part, with the exception of 41 that has been problematic due to the construction. Nothing new with that, but we are seeing numerous backups. They start a little bit before Mill Road now and go all the way down to the Mayfair area.
Well, no rain. That's the good news. It's not terribly warm. High of 54 degrees today. Partly cloudy, chilly tonight, a low of 37. No rain in the forecast Friday through Monday, with high temperatures ranging from 60 to 65. 50 degrees and cloudy in Milwaukee at 12:38. Ago, he was actually in the studio on a day that I had off. I was very bummed that I missed our CBS congressional correspondent, Scott McFarland. He had glowing things to say about Milwaukee, Jessica. You had him in studio, and I was gone.
Oh, it was such a treat. I mean, we love talking to him every week, but to have him in studio was great. And he loves the pickleball down by the 3rd Ward underneath the highway. He thought that was fantastic, didn't you?
It was like a Chamber of Commerce week. What are you doing out of town?
I was in town. I was just taking part in a charity golf event. So I was.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's right. You were doing the Lord's work. I'm sorry.
Yes. I was.
Just for the record, that was Joe Public. Gina was playing, and I got to tell you, food in Milwaukee wildly underrated outside of Milwaukee.
Where'd you go?
Wildly underrated.
Yeah. What did you end up eating?
Well, in addition to the plaza in which your wonderful media outlet resides, great markets down in the 3rd Ward. And I mean, the restaurants, you can't go wrong once you get downtown and once you get north in the suburbs. we tried everything. I mean, we ate more than we should. But I suppose that's part of that's part of the experience.
Well, I guess the question is, will you be coming back to Milwaukee as the Hannah Dugan case moves forward? Where do you think this is going to go?
So let's start there. I spoke to people familiar with the case who say the July 21st trial date is basically written in invisible ink. No way that thing doesn't get postponed because there are so many complications in what is really a one-of-a-kind case. I mean, this is a case unlike any other, really, in American history. So there's all kinds of complications that are likely to delay this thing. And here's the first one. Next Friday is the deadline for a motion and a briefing on dismissing the case outright, just tossing it from court. Judge Dugan thinks she enjoys judicial immunity from prosecution by the federal government, and the judge has got to weigh in on that matter first.
So you were here in Milwaukee covering the big local case that's gone national, the Hannah Dugan case. Today, I know you were on the deadly shooting of 2 Israeli embassy staffers in D.C. The suspect already in custody. What do we know about him so far?
He should be in court in the next 2 hours here in Washington facing federal criminal charges. There's no real track record of him in the criminal justice system. He wasn't pinging any of the radar law enforcement have until, of course, this tragic shooting. But here's what we know about Elias Gonzalez. He has got this history of troubling writings, of things that would be aligned with anti-Semitic viewpoints. And police have said in so many words that he was chanting Free Palestine after the shooting. And the president has already said this is clearly a case of anti-Semitism. That's the backdrop of this case. But the tragedy, the 2 victims, it's hard to put into words. I mean, these were 2 young people, Israeli embassy aides, one of whom was about to propose to the other. And he was going to give her the ring next week when they traveled to Jerusalem. Young people, and all of this is such a horror, and it's also an international issue because these are embassy workers killed in a foreign country.
And can you set the scene for us, too? Because I know you've been out there. It's not just investigators out at the scene today.
That's right. You see religious leaders here. They really were cleaning the blood off the street because in the Jewish faith, that is to be buried with the body. And it's quite a scene to see them out there. And the attorney general was near them. They seem to be bowing their heads in prayer at certain points. This is such a multi-jurisdictional issue. That's the phrase we use here because there's local police leading it, the Washington, D.C. police force. Of course, the FBI is involved considering the nature of the crime. There's international equities here. You know, the Israeli prime minister has spoken on this, and the president's expected to address it in about 2 hours or so in an unrelated event at the White House.
Free Palestine!
That's what you referenced there, Scott. That's what he was saying, Elias Rodriguez, as he was being detained. And it was not, it was really no issue with the detainment. He was willing, right? He gave himself up. I did also see earlier this morning happening in Chicago, FBI officers armed with large weapons entered an apartment building. The address is tied to him. That's another layer of this, right? He's from Chicago. And they got to figure out if his location is secure back in his home state.
Yeah, that was a court-authorized search warrant, the FBI says, very customary after a federal crime is believed to have been committed. There's no indication of a second person here. I mean, there's no indication of some conspiracy or coordination. That has not been indicated in anything that the authorities have said, and we'll look for that in the charging documents when they come out in a couple of hours. But the FBI has been unequivocal here, saying there is no present threat. That's an indication they don't think there's anybody else involved. We expect a preliminary hearing here in Washington before the afternoon's over. Undoubtedly, you could bet the farm on the Department of Justice seeking to hold this man in pretrial detention pending future hearings. I guess we'll wait to see if he has anything to say. The defendants are advised not to talk during these types of proceedings, but this is a guy who is allegedly shouting Free Palestine after police arrived yesterday.
Another disturbing shooting this morning outside of CIA headquarters in Virginia. This was a non-fatal shooting, but what else do we know about this one?
Allegedly, this was a woman trying to ram the gate at the CIA in Langley, Virginia. To talk about high-secured facilities is an understatement when you're talking about the CIA, where there's a remarkable presence of security even outside the facility. So they were able to quickly turn that woman away. Obviously, bullets were fired. With that said, attempted breaches at the CIA kind of garden variety around here. And that sounds crazy, but I would say we see them pop up in the court system maybe once a month.
Oh.
Rarely are they so severe that somebody has to discharge a firearm, but that's what happened in this morning's incident. But nobody has died, according to our latest report from law enforcement.
CBS congressional correspondent Scott McFarland joining us from Washington, D.C. Trump's big, beautiful bill passes the House, Scott, barely. Does it face a stiff challenge with the Senate?
It does. I think it's going to have to change before it passes the Senate. I know this because senators say it has to change. And the leading voice on that is a Republican. It's Ron Johnson, who has said he wants this thing broken up into smaller pieces. And him being a contrarian voice is an important one, not just because he's a local leader, but because it's a pretty ardent loyalist of the president. So to get this thing back through the Senate is going to take some work. It's going to take some time. They aspirationally want to do it by July 4th. I think that's very aspirational. And once they reconstruct it, it has to go back through that same labyrinth in the U.S. House and find a way through. I mean, it's quite clear what's happening here. The president is exerting outsized muscle on his fellow Republicans, and it's hard to be a no vote no matter how bad you think a bill is or how much you think it hurts your district. The bottom line on this bill is it's so large it's hard to characterize. It extends tax cuts at the end of the year that a lot of local folks enjoy. It cuts government services, though, potentially in a painful way. Could cut Medicaid, which is so impactful in our area. So many people rely on it. So many hospitals in the deep suburbs need Medicaid. That could have an outsized impact. And this will be, mark my words, the midterm election issue in 2026.
Scott, can we be real for a minute? Among the reporters in D.C., is anybody getting a chuckle out of always saying the big, beautiful bill?
I won't say it. I mean, I won't say it because that is branding. It's honestly kind of clumsy branding. It's not bad branding.
I like the alliteration.
And that simplifies it, though, right? Because it is so complex and it is so controversial. When the president calls it beautiful, he's got a political motive for doing that.
Sure.
There's an awful lot of people that think it's the opposite of that. So using that as shorthand really does play in the hands of a bill's supporters. And you don't want to fall into the trap of any bill's supporters, no matter the topic, no matter what party, because you're then advancing their political theory. And this is a close vote. This is as close as the vote gets, and it's not going to pass the Senate. So beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
So true.
No doubt about that. Always great to connect with our friend Scott McFarland, CBS congressional correspondent. Get back to Milwaukee. We'll take you out for dinner, Scott. Deal?
See you soon.
Sounds
Deal.
good. You bet.
Thanks,
Scott McFarland joins us every week here at Wisconsin's Midday News. We celebrate an everyday hero after this.
Okay, adventurers, listen up. Fox World Travel just dropped some seriously incredible Fox Group vacation destinations for 2026. Set sail on a yacht through the Croatian coastline, join a thrilling African safari, or immerse yourself in the mecca of all flower shows in London. And for the first time, we're introducing a woman's-only tour, partnering with Insight Vacations, Globus, and African Travel. But these are just a few of the exclusive offerings. But don't wait. They're filling up fast. Call 866-GO-FOX-GO to reserve your spot today.
Greg Matzek here. I want to tell you a story about Bumblebee Blinds in Milwaukee. Husband-wife run business, and they have got design experts that will help you with your window treatments. They're going to help us because we've got an issue. The stuff I bought at a big box store when we built our house, no good. Kind of falling apart, full of dust. Some of the cords are breaking and snapped. It's just not great quality. And really, doesn't look that great either. So Bumblebee Blinds to the rescue for us. Check them out. Transform your home with custom blinds, drapes, you name it. Anything to beautify your windows inside your house, Bumblebee Blinds Milwaukee can help you. And they don't just sell you blinds or drapes. They work with you to design a project, right? Expert design specialists at Bumblebee Blinds Milwaukee with an eye for engineering as well. Stuff that works and looks great. Custom blinds, expert advice, and stress-free installation. Make that call today. Book now with Bumblebee Blinds Milwaukee for high-quality blinds, professional guidance, stress-free installation. You get a project coordinator working with you from start to finish. And after that free consultation, more than likely, you're going to know what that project will cost. Expert design consultations and blinds made easy. Bumblebee Blinds Milwaukee. Check them out. Google Bumblebee Blinds Milwaukee.
Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. Indeed's sponsored jobs feature helps you stand out and hire fast. Start at Indeed.com/credit.
I'm Monica Kessler.
Monica makes sure that everything at Kessler's is worthy of a lifetime warranty.
The quality of your ring is incredibly important when it comes to diamond setting, ring sizing, and repairs.
Monica has been part of Kessler's since she was 6 years old.
Let me tell you how to judge the quality of the jewelry you're buying.
It's easier than you think.
All you have to do is read the warranty.
Most stores offer a 5-year warranty, but Kessler's offers a lifetime warranty, the strongest in the world.
We can do it because we put more gold in your jewelry.
When a jeweler wants to make a bigger profit, they put less gold into the jewelry. This makes it thinner and easier to break.
Theirs might look like ours at first glance, but Kessler's jewelry is made not to break, and that takes more gold.
We give you a lifetime warranty because our jewelry is made to last forever, just like your love.
Gold is more than $2,000 an ounce.
Kessler's gives you more gold, a lot more gold.
For the location of the Kessler's nearest you, go to KesslersDiamonds.com.
WTMJ's Eric Bilstead here for QC Kinetics. For more than 8 years, QC Kinetics has been the nation's leader in non-surgical relief for joint pain. You heard that right. Non-surgical relief. More than 50,000 patients who had knee pain, back pain, now living pain-free. Those with shoulder and hip pain, it's gone. The regenerative cell therapy restores tissues in your achy joints. Dr. Caravelli's team uses biologic growth factors with robust healing properties carefully and strategically placed in your joint. And there's no surgery. Remember that. It's a powerful and potent way to give your joints new life, repairing the old tissue. Here's what you do. You call today, 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474. Call QC Kinetics for your free consultation. 414-285-3474. Call QC Kinetics today.
Well, the rain has stopped, just not terribly warm today. 54 the high. It'll be mainly cloudy. Tomorrow's high 60 degrees. Looks like Saturday's high is going to be 63. Sunday's high 64. No rain in the forecast from now through the weekend, so it should be dry. Just don't expect to see a ton of sun. It'll be a spotty. We're calling it partly cloudy today. Downtown Milwaukee, currently cloudy with temperatures at 50 degrees.
The new hurricane forecast is now out. Weather forecasters are again calling for an especially busy Atlantic hurricane season that officially begins June 1st. That's coming up. CBS News correspondent Jim Krasula has the details.
The latest prediction calls for 13 to 19 named storms, with up to 10 of them becoming hurricanes and 3 to 5 of them growing into major hurricanes of Category 3 or higher. National Weather Service Director Ken Graham.
There's a 60% chance of above normal season, 30% chance of a near normal season, and only a 10% chance to be below normal. So we're really looking at an above normal season once again.
An average Atlantic hurricane season has 14 named storms with 7 hurricanes. Jim Krasula, CBS News.
So I had to look it up from last year. There were 18 named storms, so a little higher than average, according to Jim's report. 11 of those storms became hurricanes, 5 intensified into major hurricanes. So back-to-back years, potentially, here of above average numbers.
Well, and you have a number of states, people, homeowners, business owners that are really paying close attention to this because you have so many areas that are still recovering from previous hurricanes. I was just down in Florida a couple weeks ago, and I got married in Florida in 2022, right before Hurricane Ian. And the night before, since we were having everybody traveling in, we had a party out on the beach. It was kind of a welcome party. Everybody come. We had paella being cooked out on the beach. It was a blast. Lovely spot. You see the ocean. Just a beautiful evening. And then very soon after that, Hurricane Ian just totally destroyed that area. I mean, the building where we were, gone. All the vegetation pretty much gone in that area. Even worse, though, many homes right down from there, totally gone. But I bring this up, too, because I was just down there, and you can see how far that the area has come, but there's still a long way to go. They're building a brand new building now, but years later, it's still not done. It's getting close. But, yeah, you have so many people who are still just trying to pick up the pieces because from Hurricane Ian, and then you had Hurricane, what was it, Milton in
and
2024.
Helene. Yeah, those are the big ones.
So, gosh, I mean, yeah. So there's a lot of people paying close attention to this forecast for the next hurricane season.
Fort Myers and Naples, they were hit significantly from storm surges. Tampa suffered a lot of wind damage. But remember, North Carolina is suffering a record amount of devastation with flooding and significant damage in western North Carolina specifically. And that's not an area you would think would be ravaged by a hurricane. But remember that western North Carolina was like,
that's
wow,
right, yeah.
How did it get there? You think of it being more coastal, maybe Houston, New Orleans, Florida, the Bahamas, right? Your typical kind of hurricane area. But western North Carolina is still rebuilding, and they're not used to it there. They don't really have the infrastructure built the same way they do in some of these more common hurricane zones.
And I'll never forget going back to Florida, the Bonita Springs, Fort Myers area after Hurricane Ian hit. And it was a while after, but just going down these roads and seeing, it was like mountains of junk. It was mountains of pieces of homes, couches. And it was really sad, too. I actually, a couple days later, I went by myself and I parked the car and I walked over there. And you couldn't get extremely close for security reasons. They didn't want people over there. But I just wanted to see it up close. And it was so sad because all of a sudden you'd have somebody's couch and you'd have a dresser. And then you'd see like a kid's teddy bear. And it just really, it hit home about how much so many people lost.
12:55 on WTMJ. We've got 1 o'clock news coming up in just a few.
Tell us a little bit about Innovative Signs.
We're located out in Waukesha. Where we are really focused mostly is manufacturing outdoor electrical signs.
You came to Horicon Bank. How do you think other local businesses can benefit?
When I call, Michelle picks up the phone, and when I email, she responds in a timely manner. A few years ago, I talked to my accountant about shopping around looking for a different bank just to get some alternatives, and he said, absolutely not. You're not going to like working for a big bank. They have a lot more regulations. So that's how we got involved with Cornerstone Bank. When Horicon purchased Cornerstone, we came along for the ride, and it's been great.
For 70 years, Geist has been the trusted garage authority in the state of Wisconsin. Do not let a busted garage door get you down. Do what I've done. Call my friends at Geist. Greg Matzek here reminding you that Geist has brands like CHI and LiftMaster in stock, ready to go for you. I could not believe how many doors and openers they have in stock in their showroom. It's right off Barker Road. It's in Brookfield. They also have a pretty cool custom design center. In fact, I saw a group of folks sanding down a beautiful wood garage door, getting it ready for stain. If that's what your project requires, Geist is there for you. Swift and reliable garage repair solutions are available at geistdoors.com. And no project is too big or too small with Geist. Don't think twice. Call Geist and visit geistdoors.com.
Hi, this is Bruce Nemovitz, Senior Real Estate Specialist and founder of Bruce's Team. We understand that moving from your longtime home can feel overwhelming. Ready for a smaller space, warmer climate, want to live closer to the grandkids, or you're just sick of the upkeep? From downsizing to preparing your home for sale, our team has guided over 3,000 families through the transition. Bruce's Team helps you every step of the way. Let us take you from overwhelmed to I can do this. Visit brucesteam.com today.
Well, you may think you're the first mate.
Ahoy, matey! Ahoy!
Just wait till we make you walk the plank.
Drill deep to right field, and this one, you can kiss it goodbye, second deck. No mistake that time for Sal Freeling.
The Brewers head to Pittsburgh to take on the Pirates. Our Brewers Radio Network game day coverage starts tonight at 5:05. This series is sponsored by Steinhoffel's Memorial Day Sale. We are the home of the Brewers. WTMJ. WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
Hey boaters, cruise to Kendor Marine. We've got everything you need but the water. Got an old boat, a new boat in between. Kendor Marine, upholstery and parts, hard to find things. Kendor Marine. Cruise to Kendor Marine. We've got everything you need but the water. Everything you need but the water. Hey boaters, cruise to Kendor Marine. We've got everything you need but the water. Like a boat-loving kid in a candy store. Kendor Marine. If you have a question, we have the expertise at Kendor Marine. Hey boaters, cruise to Kendor Marine. We've got everything you need but the water.
Easy to find at 57th and Ryan Road in Franklin or at KendorMarine.com.
Hey, this is WTMJ Steve Scafidi. Don't miss Capri Community's Enjoy Life Active Aging Symposium on Wednesday, June 4th at Elmbrick Church in Brookfield from 8:30 to 3 p.m. This is a free and fun event for older adults 55 plus that celebrates active aging. Featuring speakers like John McGivern and Jennifer Bartolotta, exhibitors, goat yoga, speed friending, raffles, food, music, and much more. Make the day your own. Pre-register at EnjoyLifeSymposium.com. That's EnjoyLifeSymposium.com.
Want to stay up to date with the crew?
Strikeout of Bowers, and this game is over. The Brewers shut out for the 5th time in 2025.
Tune in to Brewers Extra Innings with Dominic Cotroneo after every game.
The Brewers have an offense issue. It's the truth of the matter. It's a timely hitting issue. It's a consistency issue, and it's a bottom third of the order issue.
Or listen anytime on the Brewers All Access podcast feed. We are your home of the Brewers. WTMJ.
Find furniture for life from Ken Michaels Furniture in Brookfield, Greenfield, or downtown Milwaukee.
I'm not obsessed with treasure. If you come looking for treasure, be warned, you just might get robbed.
Where's the rum going? Mario brought it back! Elevated above the wall, and he pulled back the home run. Incredible!
Our Brewers Pirates game day coverage starts tonight at 5:05. We are the home of the Brewers. News Radio 620 WTMJ Milwaukee.
It's 1 o'clock. I'm Greg Matzek. This is Wisconsin's Midday News for Thursday, May 22nd. Your top story, condemning the deaths of 2 Israeli embassy staffers.
I'm Jessica Tighe, banning cell phones in schools.
Mostly cloudy today, high of 54 degrees. Rain is gone for now and likely for the next few days. Chilly tonight, a low of 37. 50 degrees and cloudy in Milwaukee at 101. From the WTMJ Breaking Newsroom, President Trump and world leaders condemning the shooting deaths of 2 Israeli embassy staffers in Washington, D.C.
Attorney General Pam Bondi says she spoke with Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu about the deadly attack.
He was devastated, and it broke my heart to talk to Bibi last night. He was devastated.
Addressing reporters outside the Capitol Jewish Museum, she said the hate has got to stop.
Our Jewish community must feel safe.
As for the suspect who shouted "Free Palestine" while being taken into custody,
this person will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law.
Stacey Lynn, CBS News, Washington.
The gunman identified as 31-year-old Elias Rodriguez of Chicago. He is currently in custody.
A small plane went down in San Diego early this morning, engulfing more than a dozen homes and several vehicles in flames. Listen to this guy who lives in the neighborhood and woke up to the crash.
You look out the window, you just see big flames. You're standing outside, and because I live right here on Scopen. Big flames everywhere.
The Cessna can carry 10 passengers, but it's not known yet exactly how many were on board at the time of the crash. That plane went down in a military neighborhood, so right now there's about 100 people who have to find a new place to live, at least temporarily.
Wisconsin State Assembly passing a bill that would require K-12 school districts to set minimum restrictions on cell phone usage in the schools. Wisconsin Policy Forum Communications Director Mark Sommerhauser tells WTMJ most districts already have some type of policy.
Basically banning students from being able to use their phones during instructional time. So those districts, they would allow students to bring their phones to school. They can have them in their lockers. In some cases, they can have them, on their person throughout the school day. They would be able to use them, for instance, in a hallway.
Sommerhauser says most adults do not favor a full ban on phones at school. The bill now awaits a vote in the Senate.
Port Washington is set to house one of the largest data centers in the entire world. President of the Metropolitan Milwaukee Association of Commerce, Dale Koinga, on Wisconsin's Afternoon News.
We need to be part of this 21st century economy, and this puts us, boom, right there in some massive, massive $1 billion in CapEx. And, these are high-paying six-figure jobs. So Milwaukee is going to be in the game. We're in the game. We got Microsoft to the south. We got this project to our north, and all sorts of companies all around here that are using this type of data center technology for advanced manufacturing and education.
The Port Washington Common Council has approved annexing and rezoning that site for construction. The first phase will be completed in 2027.
Local military leaders preparing to commemorate Memorial Day this weekend.
The leader of the 128th Air Refueling Wing, Charles Merkel, says Memorial Day is an important and somber day.
We remember those who have died in the service of this country and their contribution to our freedom.
For the 128th captain Luke Koufax, he says wearing the uniform today reminds him of those that did it years ago.
It helps me remember the people who came before me who wore this uniform, the sacrifice that they gave.
Merkel says it's okay to have that cookout or play that game of volleyball. Just also take time to remember those that made the ultimate sacrifice. John Merkier, WTMJ News.
Time for news about your money. The WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Things starting to take a positive turn here. All the indices in the green. The Dow is up about 170 points at 42,025. NASDAQ up 150, just over the 19,000 mark at 19,018. And the S&P 500 up about 25 today at 5868. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite, financial planning at every level. Details, visit annexwealth.com.
Packers OTAs are just around the corner now. Sports, traffic, and weather right after this corner. Outdoor Living Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 1:04.
It's time for unbeatable Memorial Day savings at Blaine's Farm and Fleet. Right now, find great deals on supplies to kick off summer your way. Like 20% off assorted fishing rod and reel combos. Get a free $15 gift card when you spend $75 on Purina Pro Plan pet food. Plus, Friday through Sunday, all veterans and active military get an extra 10% off their entire purchase. Blaine's Farm and Fleet. Be an original. In honor of those who gave the ultimate sacrifice, our stores will be closed on Memorial Day.
Hey, WTMJ's John Merkier. The paint on the outside of your house is the first impression that people have. CertaPro painters painted our house and did great. They moved the planters around. They moved the grill out of the way. The little things are important to CertaPro painters, and they always get it right. Schedule the outside of your house to be done. A free estimate at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C for your home or your business. The details matter to CertaPro painters. They do it right the first time. They clean up after themselves. They leave your property better than it ever was. Each CertaPro painter is independently owned and operated.
Who doesn't need a seasonal wardrobe update? But who has the cash to always keep their wardrobe updated? Ladies, that's why you shop St. Vincent de Paul. Our women's clothing is always a highlight of our stores, and thrift store prices keep the costs low. It allows you to experiment and also find a hidden gem. St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, and 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
Ooh, you're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
WTMJ's Vince Vitrano here for Shopco Optical. Get eyewear for everything you do at Shopco Optical. Schedule your annual comprehensive eye exam, check out new frame styles, and order your annual supply of contact lenses all in one place. Enjoy the time and attention your eyes deserve at Shopco Optical. Receive quality eye care and a personalized vision solution tailored to your specific vision and lifestyle needs. Call Shopco Optical or visit shopco.com to schedule an appointment at a location nearest you.
Time for WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call, That's All Sports Desk. Hoping to have Brewers baseball tonight from Pittsburgh. Weather is looking a little bit iffy.
We're having a plan, potentially for a doubleheader tomorrow as well. But, you always got to go into the day trying to be prepared for that day. And so we'll be ready to go. But right now, it's not looking great at the moment.
It's Brewers general manager Matt Arnold, a guest on Wisconsin's Morning News. Coverage of tonight's game scheduled to begin at 5:05 in WTMJ. Game one of a 4-game road trip and series against the Pirates. Brewers back home for Memorial Day for a 3-game weekend series against the Red Sox. It'll be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of next week. Packers quarterback Jordan Love will throw out the first pitch on Memorial Day. Packers begin organized team activities May 27th in Green Bay.
Let's get you an update on the roads with your WTMJ Time Saver traffic. Some new details just coming in regards to the incident on I-94 northbound just south of State Highway 195 in Kenosha County. I was telling you earlier that they were just calling it an incident, but I looked at the cameras and I could tell it was something big. You had numerous squad cars out there. It almost looked like there were stop sticks too. Couldn't confirm that for sure, but I wish I had binoculars to look, but it looked like there were stop sticks out there. We now know from the Kenosha County Sheriff's Office, they're telling WTMJ that it was closed as part of an ongoing investigation resulting from a traffic stop. Greg, didn't I say that? I said, maybe this is one of those things. They saw somebody and they're trying to get somebody. Well, yep, there you go. Resulting from a traffic stop, and several individuals, not just one, but several individuals were detained by the Kenosha County Sheriff's Office. The good news for traffic is that has now cleared. No big crashes out on the system. The only other thing that we're dealing with right now, the delays on 41 in Milwaukee County due to the construction. They start around Mill Road this afternoon and go all the way down to the Mayfair area.
Traffic is sponsored by the amazing Mineshaft Restaurant in downtown Hartford.
The successful Mineshaft Restaurant in Hartford is hiring positive, professional servers, bartenders, and pizza cooks. You'll make real cash. Inquire today and start next week. MineshaftRestaurant.com.
Well, no more rain, but not a lot of warmth either. High of 54 degrees today, mostly cloudy skies. Chilly tonight, a low of 37. 60 on Friday, partly cloudy. 63 and partly cloudy on Saturday. 64 and partly cloudy on Sunday. 50 and cloudy in Milwaukee at 109.
Live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios in downtown Milwaukee, it's Wisconsin's Midday News, making stories come to life. Now, here are your hosts, Greg Matzek and Jessica Tighe.
Well, the good news is after 2 straight days of rain, it's now moved out east. The bad news is it could interrupt Brewers baseball tonight.
Yeah. Gosh,
unfortunately.
It just seemed like it was never going to stop raining.
No, God, it was really 2 straight days of rain. So hopefully softball, track and field, soccer, whatever it is that you're doing after work or after school tonight is back on. And hopefully the Brewers game is on too. I texted Lane Grindle. He's in Pittsburgh with the team. And I said, 2 tomorrow or 1 tonight. He said 1 tonight.
Okay.
There's a window. There's always a window.
Like that. I'll tell you what, wasn't it nice, though, this morning as you're coming into work or if you're taking the kids to school to see the sun? I mean, after those 2 days of just rain, and gloominess, it was almost a little jarring, but in a good way. It was like, oh, look at that. It's bright out here.
Yeah, certainly a welcome sight, no doubt. It's 1:10 here on WTMJ and some big stories that we're tracking here this afternoon.
And now it's time for 3 Big Things on Wisconsin's Midday News.
Number 1, a rise in crimes targeting postal workers across the country. Thieves are stealing postal keys and making off with your mail, including credit cards and personal information. ABC's Rhiannon Alley.
Experts say more thieves are after a so-called arrow key. It's what postal workers use to open any mailbox in a given zip code. Thieves are not just using the keys, they're also selling them to other criminals online. The Postal Inspection Service says it's taken significant action to counter mail crimes, including a plan to replace some keys with electronic locks. Experts say that's not enough.
This isn't something new, but it is a problem that's getting worse. I was trying to think. I was like, okay, a couple years ago, we had an issue here in Milwaukee County. You might remember, I looked it up. It was back in 2023. Prosecutors in Milwaukee County said there was an entire crime ring sticking up mail carriers for those arrow keys she was talking about.
Number 2, President Trump's big, beautiful bill heading to the Senate after an early morning debate led to the bill passing through the House by 1 vote. The slimmest of margins.
The One Big Beautiful Bill Act extends Trump's 2017 tax cuts, lifts federal income tax on tips and overtime, sets aside nearly $50 billion to resume construction of the border wall. It also slashes federal spending by more than $1.5 trillion, but the cuts to Medicaid could leave more than 8 million Americans without health insurance over the next decade.
That's ABC's Rachel Scott. The House bill does not cut Social Security benefits or Medicare benefits for seniors, but the notable changes to Medicaid include, for the first time ever, work requirements. Certain recipients aged 19 to 64 who gained coverage through the Affordable Care Act's expansion of Medicaid would have to work or volunteer or be enrolled in school or a job training program for at least 80 hours a month to qualify. In the end, 2 Republicans voted against the bill, along with all of the Democrats. More challenges are expected once it reaches the Senate.
Number 3. No more pennies. The Treasury Department says it will phase out production of new pennies early next year. President Trump asked the agency to stop producing the coin. It's been part of our currency here in America for more than 230 years. ABC White House correspondent Karen Travers.
The Treasury Department said Thursday the U.S. Mint will stop producing new pennies once it runs out of blank templates used to make the mostly copper and zinc coins. The department says it made its final order of penny blanks this month. The retirement of a penny, first reported by the Wall Street Journal, is expected to save Treasury around $56 million a year in reduced material costs. President Trump in February criticized production of the coin as, quote, wasteful. According to Treasury, the cost of producing a single penny has more than doubled in the past decade, from 1.3 cents to 3.69 cents in 2024. Karen Travers, ABC News, the White House.
Okay, I just grabbed my wallet because I think pennies are all I have when it comes to my coin area. I did just have to feed the meter, one of the meters in downtown Milwaukee a couple of days ago, so I used all my quarters, and then I remember using A dime. I was like, what will a dime get me? Because I need a little bit more time. I'm like, okay, give me, I don't know, maybe 2 minutes or something like that. But Greg, all I have, I've got 6 pennies and a dime. Some of these are shiny. This one, 2023, I guess. That's my newest penny.
I remember when the penny used to say 1 cent on it. It actually used to say the words 1 cent.
It still does, doesn't it?
In big letters?
Yeah, pretty big. I'd call this big.
Really?
On the
Let me
back.
see what you got there.
1 cent.
Let me see what you got there.
Penny for your thoughts.
It shows you how many pennies. So we got Abe Lincoln on one side. It was different. Instead of, there's like a,
How about
this
this
is
one?
kind of new also. There's some sort of shield, and then it says 1 cent and some kind of a ribbon. It used to say, like, almost the entire back said 1 cent. No shield.
Wow, this one's so dirty. I thought it might have said 1506. 1906? No, I bet it's 1966. 1966.
Still pretty good.
Yeah, this one's been through the ringer. If only the stories that this one could tell. It's a little nicked up, too.
I'd be in favor of getting rid of the penny and bringing back the $2 bill.
Oh.
You can use those. You can find them on occasion.
Yeah, you can go to the bank
still
and get
circulate
$2
them.
bills, can't you? I did that a few years ago as tip money for...
More regular currency. Right, what costs $1 in the vending machine now? Everything is like $1.50 or something like that. Put your $2 bill in, get your change, you're on.
$1.50. I feel like everything is like $3 these days in the vending machine.
You like the Starbucks ones, don't you?
Yeah.
Understood. Yeah, doesn't make a lot of sense. The penny. I get it. 1:15 on WTMJ. ABC's Brad Garrett. Want to dive into this crazy story in New Orleans. Prison Break, right? The TV show you used to watch, a real-life example in New Orleans, and 5 inmates remain on the loose. How did this happen? We'll dive in with Brad after this.
Not a lot of sense.
I know that 1 in 10 veterans struggle daily with mental health issues. Suicide is a real risk. If you or someone you love is struggling today, you are not alone. Support is at reachoutwis.org to find local resources available for you and your loved ones. Reach out today.
Paid for by Advancing a Healthier Wisconsin Endowment with support by the Medical College of Wisconsin, the War Memorial Center, and reachoutwis.org.
Well, Palermo's to the rescue on, let's see, it was Tuesday night. That's right, Tuesday night. Kids' activities going in every direction. Had to have a friend of my daughter's come over to our house because her parents were at a concert for their other son. That's just sort of the way we go about our business, right? It's what it's all about here. So come home from practice, Palermo's on the table. Everybody is happy. Had a good time with our friends and had a good time with our family. Eating a Screamin' Sicilian and a Connie's. That's what we had in the freezer. That's what was on the table. Whatever you like here from Palermo's, you are going to enjoy it. They've got a slice for every appetite. You can find Palermo's wherever you like to shop. And a great opportunity here right now. Taste what all the screaming is all about. Buy one, get one at Pick and Save and Metro Market stores through the 27th of May on Screamin' Sicilian. That's a BOGO deal at Pick and Save and Metro Market stores on Screamin' Sicilian. Take advantage of that. I certainly will be. It is Palermo's, Wisconsin's hometown pizza.
The countdown to summer is on at Heiser Automotive. And guess what? You're getting employee pricing on new Ford and Lincoln vehicles. But wait, we are making it even better. Get double the employee discount on remaining new 2024 models. Yes, more savings equals more fun. And with our exclusive Safe and Sound experience, you'll get roadside assistance for life. Whether you're cruising to the lake or hitting the open road this summer, we've got your back. Don't miss these deals. The summer fun starts at Heiser. Visit heiserford.com today.
See dealer for complete details since 5/31/2025.
Well, kind of a crazy story out of New Orleans. 10 inmates escaped from the Orleans Justice Center in New Orleans. This happened on May 16th, a brazen jailbreak that triggered a massive manhunt. 5 have been recovered, back in custody. 5 remain on the loose and are presumed to be well armed. There's even thoughts from local authorities that there was help from the inside. We welcome in ABC's crime and terrorism expert, Brad Garrett. Brad, you're familiar with how this kind of stuff works. You were a federal probation and parole officer for 10 years prior to joining the FBI. This looks like something straight out of a movie. What's your assertion on how this all played out?
So when I start learning the basic facts, the morning that this broke, it just struck me that it had to be an inside job to a certain extent, only because if you think about, first of all, removing the combination toilet sink, which would take tools to get it off the wall. And once you do that, you've got then to create a hole around the pipes and break through whatever flooring there is below it to get down to where a body could fit through the hole and then run out, which is exactly what they did. So the short answer is they had inside help. They've charged, I now think, 3 people, and maybe suspended some others, because you couldn't obviously pull that off without help. And one guy that's been arrested even admitted that he turned the water off, because obviously when you pop that toilet in the sink, you'd have a flood.
Sure.
Because there wouldn't be any way to control the water. So that's for starters. But then the idea, even beyond what I just said, is that 10 of them go through this hole, and on a very clear surveillance camera, you see them running out the sally port of the prison and then go over a fence. Apparently they didn't have razor wire. They covered all of the fencing. So they all hop the fence and off they go. As you pointed out, 5 have been caught. 5 are still on the loose, on the run. My guess is a majority of those 5 are still probably in New Orleans, because, you know, when people do these type of escapes, I mean, I don't know how well they're going to. First of all, the ways and means. What ways and means do they have beyond running to a girlfriend, relative, somebody they know's house? Where the fugitive task forces would start with are those locations. So we'll see about the other 5. But, you know, this is a great example of the combination of not enough security staff. She's at 60% at best, low pay, broken doors, probably really poor morale, and which sort of breeds or can tee up, you know, corruption for various reasons. And so I think all of that is in play and from my view, this is sort of predictable that this would happen based on what I just said.
Brett, how do you know who's a high-risk inmate? I mean, at the end of the day, it's your job to make sure no one escapes, right? But is there a profile of someone who's more likely to try to escape?
Yeah, there are. Now, keep in mind, if you're locked up for any period of time, you're all going to think about escaping. No one wants to be in a prison or a jail. But very few of them actually go and do it. So, I mean, if you look at the studies of people that have escaped, you know, they tend to be high-risk decision-making folks. They're impulsive. They're antisocial. But many of them are charismatic, and they can develop relationships with security people. I mean, you might recall when Ted Bundy was on the run, he actually escaped from jails twice, and partly because, you know, he was so likable. And people got relaxed around him, and they made mistakes. And he immediately picked out the vulnerabilities. One of them, he jumped out of a window, and the other one, I'm not sure. I can't remember how he got away. But the point being, it's a combination of all those things. You know, the vulnerabilities in many of these prisons and jails, some are obvious and some aren't. But if you don't have the staff, and you're not adequately or sufficiently paying a staff that will get you quality people, I mean, these are the situations you can end up with.
It's a wild situation, Brad, but you'd think the alarms would sound the moment they were able to scale that fence, hop over, and start running into the night. But no, this wasn't detected for somewhere between 6 and 8 hours after the escape was made. How does that happen?
Well, apparently, I have to laugh because it's just, like, unbelievable. Right. Apparently the person who watches the cameras was on a lunch break. Or dinner break or whatever. And so, you know, was that planned? We'll have to see if that was planned. If it wasn't, it shows, you know, what a shortage of staff you have that you would leave that unmanned. But clearly, if you were just looking at the monitors, you could see what we saw the next day of them running out the Sally Port, one after the other, and off they went into the night. So it's pretty unbelievable story from so many different vantage points. But as I told you both earlier, based on the circumstances at that jail, it just doesn't surprise me.
Is there a way to kind of, I mean, you talk about these jails and prisons being short-staffed, so this is not your main concern, but you brought up the word corrupt, and I'm thinking about corruption here. When it comes to some of these people who are working at the jail, is there a way to weed out the ones who might be corrupt from the start? You would certainly hope so.
Well, you would think. But I will tell you that many jails and prisons are so desperate to hire people because people just don't want to do the work. And when you get into like rural parts of particularly southern states who historically don't pay a whole lot. I mean, I read an article the other day that, and it was a prison in the middle of nowhere in Louisiana. They said that the biggest competitor of people not becoming prison guards was to work at Walmart.
Oh, wow.
If that gives you an idea that you could be the greeter at Walmart and make maybe more than you could be a prison guard. I mean, we'll have to see how accurate that is, but I think some version of that probably is true. And it's such a unappealing. I mean, I've walked through so many, in particular prisons, with guards it's like the inmates are yelling back at the guards about how much time they have to serve, and the guards are basically saying, how much time they have to serve. Only it's 8 hours at a time. So it creates this environment. And the other thing is the inmates that are smart and charismatic, they figure out the vulnerabilities of guards because let's face it, who else do they have to talk to other than themselves and the group that they're around? And they start looking at, you got financial issues, they got divorce issues, and they use that to their advantage sometimes to corrupt them.
5 in custody. The hunt for an additional 5 continues in Louisiana and perhaps even beyond, with the FBI and all authorities on the hunt here in New Orleans. ABC crime and terrorism expert Brad Garrett. Good insight, Brad. We appreciate your time.
Thanks, Brad.
You're welcome. Take care.
When we're out in your town, come say hi as we broadcast live from the Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin mobile studio.
Anytime you hear us when we're on the road, you can find us live from our brand new mobile studio.
Whether it be Summerfest, EAA, Opening Day, Air and Water Show, wherever we may be.
You can see us on the radio, live from the Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin mobile studio.
We are Wisconsin's radio station.
We are Wisconsin's radio station.
We are Wisconsin's radio station.
News Radio 620 WTMJ. Wisconsin's Morning News is here for you every weekday morning starting at 6 a.m. Vince Petrano.
State of emergency in Mayville, Dodge County, the morning after. Severe weather, including at least one tornado ripped through there.
Eric Billstad.
Mistaken gunshots prompt a heavy police response and frustration in downtown Milwaukee.
And traffic with Debbie Lozica.
We have an accident now, 43 northbound the Rock Freeway.
The news you need to know. Wisconsin's Morning News on WTMJ.
Accunet Mortgages and Equal Housing Lender, NMLS ID 255368.
Flimsy, feeble, flaccid. That's how you can describe most pre-approval letters these days because most banks still issue pre-approval letters without actually verifying your income, employment, or down payment. That's the exact opposite of an Accunet rock-solid, fully verified and guaranteed pre-approval, where we put a $2,000 guarantee behind the fact the seller can actually rely on the terms of your pre-approval and offer. With Accunet, there's also a possibility of issuing a property-specific pre-approval with as little as a 10% down payment that includes the magic words, no appraisal required. That's right, Accunet may be able to issue your pre-approval without needing an appraisal. That's the kind of certainty that can help a seller say yes to your offer. Sure, you can try competing with a flimsy bank pre-approval, or you can click on the blue button at Accunet.com and get started with the pre-approval listing agents and sellers recognized as the best in the business. That's ACCUNET.com.
WTMJ's Eric Billstead here for Tri-County Contracting. We talk all the time about Tri-County Contracting, the place to go for roofs and siding, but don't forget, Tri-County Contracting also does windows. Need a new front entry door? Tri-County Contracting. Or maybe a patio door that's always jammed. Get your free estimates today. They've been helping homeowners like you for 46 years. Tri-County Contracting, WI.com. It's worry-free roofing, siding, oh yeah, and windows. Tri-County Contracting, WI.com.
Hey there, Brewers fans. We've got a new way for you to watch the Brew Crew this season. FanDuel Sports Network. And now there are more ways to watch the Brewers than ever before. Subscribe directly to FanDuel Sports Network to stream all the action. Or, new this season, Brewers Baseball is now available on Amazon Prime Video as an add-on subscription. You can also access FanDuel Sports Network through TV providers, including DirecTV, Spectrum, Xfinity, Fubo, and more. Visit GetMyHomeTeams.com to learn more.
I've got a fantastic trip that I'm planning right now. I'd love for you to be with us. It's America's Music Cities for the holidays. It's early December. It's an 8-day tour of some great spots. New Orleans, Memphis, and Nashville. Check out New Orleans, the vibrant French Quarter, all decked out for the holidays. Then we're on to the amazing city of Memphis, Elvis Presley's Graceland. It is going to look absolutely fantastic. On to Nashville. We make chocolate, take a horse-drawn carriage ride, and we stay at the magical Opryland Resort. It's with Colette, the travel company I trust. We'll handle all the details for you, flights, meals, hotels, local experiences. I'm going to be there. I want you to be with us. Send me an email. I send you the information. John@WTMJ.com. John@WTMJ.com. Space is limited. We'll discover America's musical legacy wrapped in dazzling lights and seasonal decor. I'd love for you to be with us. John, John, @WTMJ.com.
Let me show you the world. Come away with me.
It's America's Music Cities.
Want to stay up to date with the crew?
Strikeout of Bowers, and this game is over. The Brewers shut out for the 5th time in 2025.
Tune in to Brewers Extra Innings with Dominic Cotroneo after every game.
The Brewers have an offense issue. It's the truth of the matter. It's a timely hitting issue. It's a consistency issue, and it's a bottom third of the order issue.
Or listen anytime on the Brewers All Access podcast feed. We are your home of the Brewers. WTMJ.
It's 1:30. I'm Greg Matzek. This is Wisconsin's Midday News for Thursday, May 22nd. Your top story, missing another deadline to submit financial reports.
I'm Jessica Tighe, showcasing local vendors at Summerfest.
No more rain. That's good news. Bad news is temperatures are pretty chilly. I don't know, 54 for the end of May. Not great. Mostly cloudy throughout the day. Chilly tonight, a low of 37 degrees.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. In California, at least 2 were dead after a plane crashed into a military housing unit in San Diego today. Authorities say no one on the ground was killed, but 8 others were injured. Here's ABC's Alex Stone.
After the plane hit Jessica Schrader's neighborhood, there was jet fuel on fire flowing down the street. Fire in her front yard and a dead pilot, she says, outside of her front door. She escaped with her children and dogs by going over their back fence. Their neighbors set up a ladder.
So we were able to climb the ladder and jump onto their trampoline.
The cause of the crash remains under investigation. In D.C., a suspected shooter in custody for that shooting death of the 2 Israeli embassy staffers last night, gunned down as they left an event at the Capitol Jewish Museum. President Trump says the anti-Semitic killings must end. The storm system that left a trail of destruction in the Midwest and South now churning on the East Coast as a nor'easter that could impact travel this Memorial Day weekend. This is ABC News.
Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News time is 1:31. Milwaukee Public Schools at risk of losing more state aid for once again being late with their financial reports.
CPI officials say MPS had until May 16th to provide information on its 2024 fiscal year auditor aid certification and auditor fund balance, as well as the 2024 fiscal year annual report. Already $16 million in state funding for special education is being withheld from last year. DPI says if both reports, including the 2024 fiscal year audited financial report, are not delivered by May 30th, more state financial aid will be withheld. Shaw Brenda, WTMJ News.
Milwaukee Public Schools Finance Office says it is moving as fast as possible to turn financial information into the state on time. President of the Metropolitan Milwaukee Association of Commerce, Dale Koinga, tells WTMJ the superintendent is pushing to meet the next deadline.
I mean, she just got there. And also, they are hiring new teams. I know we talked to Dr. Casilius, was in front of our the MMAC board this week. I've had a couple of meetings with her. She's very available and accessible. I know she is putting a huge sense of urgency on this and holding the team accountable and saying, this is the top priority. You are doing this.
The final deadline to submit those financial documents is next Friday.
An inmate at the Milwaukee County Jail is dead following a medical emergency. Just before 8 o'clock Wednesday night, a corrections officer was alerted to a man unconscious. Despite life-saving measures, the inmate died about 30 minutes later. 33-year-old man had been in custody since late November on a single felony charge for possession of methamphetamine. The Waukesha County Sheriff's Office is leading the investigation.
A local vendor at Summerfest with a mission.
At first glance, it's just a hoodie, but look a little closer. It's a movement.
So my mission is to end puppy mills in Wisconsin. So what I do is I do vendor events throughout the state, and I give 5% back to rescues and shelters that take in Puppy Mill Survivor dogs.
Karen Eckert, owner of Talk Dog to Me.
There isn't any discounts right now, but I will be doing a scan to win entry for every week in a nice big basket of Talk Dog to Me items.
At Summerfest, their voice is louder than ever on every shirt, every sale, and through every dog lover walking by. Nazir Spencer, WTMJ News.
Talk Dog to Me. How great is that? 6 local businesses are part of Summerfest 2025 Small Business Spotlight. Their products will be available in the Shop Local Market right next to the Summerfest store.
It's been a year now since Amtrak's Borealis line started. That's the one that connects Milwaukee with Chicago and Minneapolis. Well, the numbers are in, and more than 290,000 people took a ride on the Borealis since its first year.
Stay close. Sports, traffic, and weather are coming up. Outdoor Living Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 1:34.
Hey, this is WTMJ Steve Scafidi. Don't miss Capri Community's Enjoy Life Active Aging Symposium on Wednesday, June 4th at Elmbrook Church in Brookfield from 8:30 to 3 p.m. This is a free and fun event for older adults 55 plus that celebrates active aging. Featuring speakers like John McGivern and Jennifer Bartolotta, exhibitors, goat yoga, speed friending, raffles, food, music, and much more. Make the day your own. Pre-register at enjoylifesymposium.com. That's enjoylifesymposium.com.
It's time for unbeatable Memorial Day savings at Blaine's Farm and Fleet. Right now, find great deals on supplies to kick off summer your way. Like 20-pound bags of Estate Sunny or Sun to Shade grass seed, $10 off. Your choice of Estate Weed and Feed or Summer Lawn Fertilizer, $5 off. Plus, Friday through Sunday, all veterans and active military get an extra 10% off their entire purchase. Blaine's Farm and Fleet. Be an original. In honor of those who gave the ultimate sacrifice, our stores will be closed on Memorial Day.
Hey, boaters! Well, if you have an old boat, new boat, or in between, then Kendor Marine is a great place for you to shop. Because not only do we have all the parts and accessories you need for almost any kind of boat, we also have the expert advice that just about any boater is one day gonna need. I'm Dave Doro, and boaters in the know exactly where to go. Kendor Marine, 57th and Ryan Road in Franklin. Hey, boaters! Cruise to Kendor Marine. We got everything you need but the water. KendorMarine.com. At Kendor Marine, we have everything you need but the water. For over 50 years, boaters have found that to be true. Because when they've needed that old part they thought they'd never find, guess what? They found it here, along with everything else you need to keep your boat out there on the water. This is Dave Doro, and boaters in the know exactly where to go. Kendor Marine, 57th and Ryan Road in Franklin. Hey, boaters! Cruise to Kendor Marine. We got everything you need but the water. KendorMarine.com.
With Amazon Business, smart business buying tools enable buyers to find and purchase items fast. Free up your teams and focus on your future. Learn more at AmazonBusiness.com.
Time for WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call, That's All Sports Desk. Weather permitting, there will be Brewers baseball tonight from Pittsburgh. There is rain in the area, however.
We're having a plan, potentially for a doubleheader tomorrow as well. But, you always got to go into the day trying to be prepared for that day. And so we'll be ready to go. But right now, it's not looking great at the moment.
Brewers general manager Matt Arnold coverage supposed to get underway tonight at 5:05 on WTMJ. Short trip here for the Brewers. They're back home for Memorial Day to face the Boston Red Sox in Game 1 of a 3-game series. Packers quarterback Jordan Love will throw out the first pitch before that game. And the Packers begin organized team activities May 27th in Green Bay.
Checking out the roads with your WTMJ Time Saver Traffic. A new incident here. There's some junk on the road, Greg. I see it on the camera. Something black. Doesn't look real big, but it's a problem. 4194 North at Elm Road in Milwaukee County. You can expect some lane closures because there is this junk out in the road. And bottom line, they need to clean it up. So that's going to happen at some point here. 4194 North at Elm Road. Expect lane closures. Also want to give you an update. This is now cleared, but I'd mentioned down in Kenosha County, I-94 northbound, just south of 195, was temporarily closed, and there were just a ton of squad cars out there when I looked at it. And my gut was, they saw somebody out there and they're trying to stop them. It kind of looked like there were stop sticks out there. Not 100% on that, but that's what it looked like to me. But we do have this confirmed from the Kenosha County Sheriff's Office that was part of an ongoing investigation resulting from a traffic stop, and several individuals were detained. So not one person, not two, but several individuals detained by the Kenosha County Sheriff's Office.
Well, finally starting to dry out a little bit. 2 straight days of rain. I know we needed a little bit, but my goodness. not really good for after school or after work outdoor activities. Kind of a challenge in that regard. Maybe getting back on track today, although not a lot of sun. Brendan Johnson joins us, TMJ4 meteorologist. Hey, Brendan.
Yeah, hey guys, how's it going?
Hey, good. Are we back above normal now for precipitation here in the month of May?
Oh, yes, I think we are. We've definitely picked up anywhere between about 2 to 4 inches of rainfall over the last couple of days. I think the highest total I had seen was just over 4.5 inches over towards Cedarburg. I do want to throw out a note of caution, though. The drought monitor is still going to show that moderate drought for the state line. That data cut off at 6 a.m. on Tuesday, rather.
Oh.
So it did not count all the rain that we just got. So I'm looking forward to next week's drought monitor to really see that improvement.
All right. I want to ask you, too, I hear you're out in the storm chaser. Are you in wind point? What damage are you seeing out there at this point in wind point?
Yeah, so Wind Point, we are here for the Community Cleanup Day. There are a number of public works departments from Sturtevant, Caledonia, Union Grove, and even Racine County that are out doing a lot of the cleanup from last Thursday's storms. I've seen so many trees down, especially over by the Wind Point Lighthouse, the golf course. You're talking about trees that probably are 8, 10, 12 inches thick at their stumps that were either completely uprooted or suffered significant branch damage. So the crews have been hard at work. I talked to a few of them. They've been out since 7, 8, 8:30 this morning, and the work continues, especially right up towards Lighthouse Drive. That's where a lot of the damage has been.
Yeah, and tough to work when it's pouring outside. It's been doing that for the last couple of days. So to get out there and actually safely be able to work in a work day, that's a good thing. Are we staying dry now for a few days? I don't see much in the forecast, Brendan. What do you see?
Yeah, it is going to stay dry. It is good weather for these folks to get out and do this cleanup. It's dried up enough so that they can do the cleanup, and it's looking pretty good for all those Memorial Day plans as we roll into the weekend. I know a lot of families will get together and maybe do some grilling outside or just getting everybody together. We'll hold on to a mix of sunshine and clouds here, guys, through Friday, Saturday, even Sunday. Inland communities into the 60s. We'll keep those lakeside temperatures in the 50s. And as of right now, Memorial Day, high of 60 in Milwaukee, mid-60s a little bit farther inland. The only chance of rain I've got late Memorial Day into early Tuesday. We'll be watching some rain down to the southwest. It will get close to us, but I'll keep those rain chances fairly low for now. So we get a few days to kind of dry out, which honestly is real good after seeing a lot of rain in a short amount of time.
Yeah, that'll help. And have you taken a peek, too, just across the state? I know we're not always asking you about that forecast, but I know a lot of people for the Memorial Day holiday will be traveling to other spots like Door County or maybe out to the Dells.
Yes, statewide, we are pretty much good for the most part. If you were heading towards, let's say Iowa, Southern Illinois, we would have a little concern for that for the weekend. But the entire state of Wisconsin staying dry here over the next several days as high pressure, continues to cycle through the upper Midwest. We'll range from, the low 50s, likely far northern Wisconsin, to more so the mid 50s, near 60 degrees in the south side of the state. So A-okay from your meteorologist to travel up north if you so plan this weekend.
Well, a lot of folks already beginning that trip on the road today. If traffic coming into work was any indication, people are getting started today with their Memorial Day holiday travels. We appreciate it, Brendan. Thanks so much.
Thanks.
Yep, take care, guys.
Yeah, 142 on WTMJ. That is my gauge, right? I like usually Fridays, it's kind of light coming in using the freeway system, 94 coming east. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday usually locks up at the exact same time, exact same point. And now with the construction in 41, it's kind of an overall mess. Yeah. No good way to go there. But I noticed today, getting by the stadium, usually I'm kind of on the brakes. Not so much today.
Yeah, they said today, if you wanted to beat the rush, today was the day to go. We're going to go up to Door County probably tomorrow night, and I'm kind of dreading the traffic tomorrow night after work.
You should get started. Leave at 3:03 today.
3:03, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Notice
okay.
I said don't leave now. Hang with me for another hour and 40 minutes.
Oh,
or so.
Today? I can go today?
Sure,
we got a big
not?
show tomorrow.
Oh, good point.
I'm really excited about some of tomorrow's show, too, so no, can't do that.
Good point. 142 on WTMJ, our weekly check-in with Dr. Ben Weston, our weekly wellness check after this.
Get the help you need from How To Radio. Saturday mornings on WTMJ. At 7, it's the WTMJ Fix It Show with David Nason, featuring this week's guests, Dimension Design Build Remodel and CertaPro Painters. At 9, plan your dream vacation with the Fox World Travel Show. Get a 10, get financial guidance during Money Talk. Contact Annex Wealth Management for an unbiased review of your investments at annexwealth.com. Saturday mornings on WTMJ.
Oh, I had a great time last night at Potawatomi Sportsbook for the weekly wagers. So fun to connect with you and the folks who have taken a trip to Potawatomi Sportsbook to see all that's new. And really, it is the Sportsbook that is new. About a year old now, but still, everything is looking great. 2,000 square foot video wall, fantastic food. Had a buffalo chicken wrap last night, a little bowl of soup, kind of chilly outside, but it was perfect. Hit the spot. They have great food coming out of the kitchen, VIP deck for a more private gathering. And really carve out your niche at Potawatomi Sportsbook and see all that's new, all the different restaurants, food options, 24/7 coffee shop and pastries to the incredible prime rib dinner every Thursday night at Dream Dance. You name it, you can have a lot of fun doing it at Potawatomi. Check out the Sportsbook. Hope to see you there.
When you breathe well, you live better. Find out more at adventknows.com.
And now, about your house. Eric Brown is the president of Siding Unlimited, your contractor for new windows, roofing, siding, decks, and a whole lot more. He knows about your house. So what do you know, Eric?
Recently, Siding Unlimited installed new windows in a home, and the homeowner loved the experience. Linda W. said, "I was extremely satisfied with the service that was provided by Siding Unlimited. I had a new roof and new windows installed in my house." Linda loved that she chose the right company for peace of mind. She also loved the colors. Larry, another Siding Unlimited customer, was thrilled with the experience. Larry's home looks brand new. Go to our Siding Unlimited Instagram page and see our pinned message to listen to Larry's testimonial, but also see his house. Again, Siding Unlimited, knocking it out of the park. Looking for new windows, siding, roofing, and doors? Visit the 5-time Pella Platinum Premier National Window Contractor of the Year winner at sidingunlimited.com. Definitely listen to Larry on Instagram at Siding Unlimited LLC.
Eric and his crews at Siding Unlimited are your go-to contractor here for roofing and also replacement windows, decks, and of course siding. They've done it all at the Matzek households over the years. It started with windows, transforming our 1953 Milwaukee home into something beautiful. And then, on our new house, brand new LP Smart Side siding. Built 8 years ago, our house still looks brand new. Make sure to connect with Eric about patio projects as well. They've expanded our outdoor living space to an area fit with a beautiful cedar pergola, paver patio, gas fire pit, and more. The best in lighting? I can control it from my phone. All there at Siding Unlimited. Truly siding and a whole lot more. Take the next step and check them out at sidingunlimited.com. Siding Unlimited. Truly siding and a whole lot more.
Doctor, give me the news. I got a bad case of loving you.
And it's time for our weekly wellness check. Always a good chance to check in with Dr. Ben Weston, another in-person studio guest I missed last week. I was out and all this cool stuff happened.
It was a happening Thursday, let me tell you. It was an awesome show.
Very frustrated. Sad that Dr. Weston's not able to join us in studio today, but always glad to talk to you. Hey, Dr. Weston.
I'll get there soon. Good to talk to you, though.
Hey, great to have you on as always. Hey, wanted to talk a little bit more about former President Biden's prostate cancer diagnosis. I think when the diagnosis came out, we heard words like aggressive and stage 4. And Jessica and I both wondered, why was this so delayed? How did we not know about this earlier, given the opportunities he has to meet with a specialist really at any time during the course of his presidency? A late-stage prostate cancer diagnosis. How common is this, Dr. Weston?
Yeah, so prostate cancer is often slow-growing, and so a lot are diagnosed in those early stages, but it can be more aggressive, like we've heard with President Biden's, and it can progress rapidly to other parts of the body. It's about 8% of cases that are like that. So some important things to know about this. First of all, prostate cancer can be a silent progression. It often grows slowly, and in these early stages, often it can have no symptoms, which is why it can be silent. And it's not until you get more advanced that you start getting symptoms like pain or bleeding or difficulties with urination. Now, there are limitations of routine screening, and this is where it gets a little more complicated. So presently, no major medical organization recommends routine screening for men at average risk. And the reason why is because there's a concern for overdiagnosis and overtreatment that can cause all sorts of problems of their own. And so right now, men 55 to 69, generally speaking, it's about shared decision-making. Talk with your doctor, think if the test is right for you. And then once you get over 70 and older, oftentimes it's not even recommended to get this screening. But when it is diagnosed early, of course, there are more treatment options available to a patient.
Given President Biden's more aggressive type of prostate cancer, and we know that it's already spread to his bones, what treatment options are available?
Yeah, so when it spreads to other part of the body, we call it a metastatic cancer. It's further along, and this is more complex and severe stage of the disease. So with someone like President Biden, he has what we call a hormone-sensitive prostate cancer. And so the first line of treatment is usually hormone therapy, and that's because it lowers the level of hormones, often testosterone, which can fuel the cancer's growth. Now, the goal of these treatments isn't necessarily to cure the cancer, and that's important. It's to slow the progression, manage the symptoms, prolong life, and especially quality of life. But that in particular is a great example of how research advances medical treatment. Not many years ago, we didn't know much about hormone sensitivity of cancers. And so this sort of research, this sort of treatment wasn't even possible. And that's why research is so critical to understand and treat folks to have better, longer, high-quality lives.
So you mentioned the PSA screenings here. When's a good idea to begin screening for prostate cancer?
Yeah, so the short answer is talk to your doctor. The longer answer is it's more complicated. You may have risk factors. You may be in a higher risk group. For example, society guidelines show that for black men who've been shown to be at higher risk, they should consider screening earlier. So there isn't a simple answer here. It's a complex situation, but ultimately it's about ensuring that those considered high risk or certainly experiencing symptoms get evaluated, even if they may not fit the typical screening age bracket. So long story short is it's not simple, but talk to your doctor and you can figure out what is going to be best for you.
Dr. Weston, I'll kind of give you a little behind the scenes here that you might not have noticed on the times you've come in, but I typically, for most of the show, stand. But I sit down, like when you were here, I sit down for the guests. But because I wanted to ask you about this, I was sitting down listening to you, and then I just stood up because a new study finds sitting for more than 6 hours a day can increase your risk for neck pain by nearly 88%. And mobile phone use, which, Greg, we both use it a lot for work, mobile phone use alone raises the likelihood of neck pain by 82%. So with this latest research, what exactly does it tell us about the relationship between sedentary behavior and neck pain? And then why is that mobile phone use especially problematic?
Yeah, we're all doing way too much sitting, myself included, and way too much mobile phone use. So what this latest research confirms is what a lot of us already suspect. Sitting, especially for long periods, using screens puts strain on the neck. Now, what's interesting, as you mentioned, is how mobile phone use really stood out in this study. It found that using your phone was the riskiest screen-based activity for your posture, for your neck. And that's likely because check yourself out the next time you're looking at your phone. You typically hunch forward, you look down at a sharp angle for extended periods of time. And this can lead, as one might suspect, to muscle imbalances along with just chronic tension in the neck and upper back.
I believe the medical term is monkey fist, isn't it? Feels like a big monkey fist is welled up in your neck.
I've never heard that.
That's what
I
it feels
have not
like.
read that in the medical textbooks, but we'll go with it.
He's like, no.
It's probably toward the back, but I get that. And, in the case of sitting, I totally get it, because sometimes you're sitting and maybe your desktop is a little too high, so then you have to kind of, crunch your shoulders up a little bit to reach the keyboard. Like, you really do have to find that perfect balance if you are going to sit. The desk height, the chair height, all that stuff is really important.
Right. It's all about those ergonomics, and there's people who their entire career is about this. But you're right, getting the desk height, getting the chair height, getting your screen height in particular. Those of us on laptops, a lot of times, you're just looking down. All day long, you're looking down at that laptop.
I am looking up because I was thinking the same thing as you were talking about that with the phone. I thought, well, I'm looking down a lot. I'm looking at the computer. I'm looking at our buttons here. Okay, I've got to have this one up. I've got to press this button. I got to hit the space bar. Got to look over here. You're looking down a lot. So I'm trying to just look straight. But besides that, Dr. Weston, what else can we do to help out? So hopefully we don't have so much neck pain.
Yeah, so of course, first, let's start with what we were talking about, ergonomics. Little adjustments, bringing that screen up to eye level. Use a standing desk. Sitting in a chair that's supporting your back can make big difference. Second, regular movements. Build in these regular movements like taking little breaks every 30, 60 minutes, set an alarm, walk around your office, walk around the between tasks, do some quick neck stretches. This can help prevent stiffness. And then third, of course, is awareness. When you are sitting, try to be aware of your posture. Learn simple mobility techniques, check your daily habits, and these sort of things can go a long way and start getting you into the habit of better posture and less back and neck pain.
Dr. Weston, before we let you go, I got a press release the other day from County Executive David Crowley's office talking about the Healthy County Challenge, which you are also a part of. What is the Healthy County Challenge?
Yeah, so the Healthy County Challenge is a series of events throughout the summer, everything from yoga to Zumba to basketball. And these are ways to get the community out there, build community engagement, build connection, accountability, create an inviting, accessible atmosphere, raise awareness, and just generally get people moving in our green spaces through Milwaukee County.
I mean, getting out into a park and doing something physical, it lifts your spirits too, doesn't it? It just does a body good in so many ways.
Yeah, it's interesting, actually. So spending time in green space is incredibly beneficial for both your mental and physical health. There's evidence out there. It shows that time in green space, especially when you're doing physical activity, reduces stress, improves mood, and can even lower your blood pressure. And we're lucky here in Milwaukee County. We're actually a national model for our parks. A lot of folks don't realize that, but we have over 15,000 acres of parkland, nearly 125 miles of trails. And in fact, we have more parkland per capita than places like Chicago, Los Angeles, even New York City. So we're ahead of the game, so get out there and enjoy that parkland.
Always great information. Always great to catch up with Dr. Ben Weston from the Medical College of Wisconsin, Chief Health Policy Advisor for Milwaukee County. Appreciate it, Dr. Weston. We'll talk again next week.
Thanks, Dr. Weston.
All right. Have a good rest of the week.
You do the same. 155 on WTMJ. Yeah, monkey fist. That's the official clinical term when your neck is all tight on both sides. Monkey fist.
I never heard of that one, but when he was saying we should do stretches, all of a sudden I just put my neck over that way and then roll it down and roll it up, and I heard a little... I don't think that's good.
Okay. We'll get it diagnosed here during the break. News coming up.
Why settle for just the job when you could have a career in the exciting automobile industry? The Auto Dealers Association of Metro Milwaukee new car dealer members have service, technician, sales, administrative, and management positions available now. The first word in career is car, and one of the best places to find a great career opportunity is at an Adam new car dealer.
For current great paying job opportunities, visit adam.jobs. That's ADAMM.jobs.
Greg Matzek here. I want to tell you about my friends at Gruber Law Offices. It really is just a one-call, that's-all situation. You've heard David say that before, right, on all his commercials and advertisements. Well, it's true. If you've been hurt in an accident, you make a call to Gruber. They focus on the legal aspect while you focus on healing, standing up for victims to take the burden off your shoulders. That's the deal with Gruber, providing the best care, service, and representation. It's their priority. And no fee, no cost to call, no cost to consult or retain their firm. There is never a fee with Gruber until they win your case, and it's what they've been doing for 40 years as one of the largest personal injury firms in the Midwest. Serving the people in the state for 4 decades and giving back to the community, all critical for Gruber, family-owned and operated, but a large, powerful team. They've got the resources to take on the insurance companies. Locally known and nationally recognized, visit gruber-law.com if you've been hurt in an accident, or make that call to 414-276-6666.
Here's to sweet summer days together with friends and family in Wisconsin. To discovering magic in every moment.
Hey, Mom, over here.
And to reconnecting through a world filled with wonder.
Wow.
Here's to supper club celebrations and dancing until the sun goes down. Here's to those who Wisconsin. Plan your summer getaway at travelwisconsin.com.
CertaPro Painters, the best in the business. WTMJ's John Mercure here. My wife and I were shocked at how thoughtful they are, how amazing they are, how they moved things that needed to be moved and got their jobs done fast and efficiently. Schedule your free estimate at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. Slots are filling up fast. Now's the time for your home or your business. Get on their schedule. They will transform your house it'll be the best looking house in the neighborhood. The teams I trust are at CertaPro Painters. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
Hi, I'm Tony Drake from Drake & Associates. One of the biggest questions retirees face is, when should I take Social Security? Should you claim it earlier for a smaller check or wait for a bigger payout? The wrong move could cost you thousands over the course of your retirement. And here's something most people don't realize. Social Security is only one piece of your income puzzle. If you don't coordinate it with your other retirement assets, you could pay more in taxes or even reduce your benefits without meaning to. At Drake & Associates, we help hardworking Americans like you make sense of their Social Security options so you can keep more of what you've earned. This isn't just about picking an age. It's about having a strategy so your retirement income lasts. That's why I want to send you a free retirement toolkit along with a copy of my book, Get Retirement Ready. Inside, you'll find easy-to-understand strategies to help you maximize Social Security, lower taxes, and build a reliable income plan. Text SS to 414-897-9522 to claim your free copies while supplies last. If you're unsure about your Social Security options, don't wait. This is your chance to get clarity and confidence about your retirement income. Text SS to 414-897-9522. Secure your future today. Text SS to 414-897-9522. Drake & Associates, helping you retire with confidence.
Drake & Associates LLC is an independent investment advisory firm that offers a variety of different investment vehicles. This commercial is provided for informational purposes only and should not be construed as individual investment advice. Drake & Associates LLC does not provide legal or tax advice. Past performance is not indicative of future performance.
Built Right Furniture, Leather, and Mattress.
You gotta get to Built Right today.
I'm not obsessed with treasure. If you come looking for treasure, be warned, you just might get robbed.
Where's the rum going? Mario brought it back! Elevated above the wall, and he pulled back the home run. Incredible!
Our Brewers Pirates Game Day coverage starts tonight at 5:05. We are the home of the Brewers. News Radio 620 WTMJ Milwaukee.
It's 2 o'clock. I'm Greg Matzek. This is Wisconsin's Midday News for Thursday, May 22nd. Your top story, outraged by the deaths of embassy employees in Washington, D.C.
I'm Jessica Tighe. Parents charged for their child bringing a gun to school.
Partly cloudy, chilly tonight, a low of 37 degrees inland. Partly cloudy on Friday. Should see some pops of sun with a high of 60 degrees. 50 and cloudy in Milwaukee at 2:01. From the WTMJ breaking newsroom, a suspect in custody after 2 Israeli embassy staffers, a young couple, were shot and killed while leaving an event at the Jewish Museum in Washington, D.C. Police say the suspect walked into the museum shortly after the shooting, saying "Free Palestine," before he was taken into custody.
President Trump spoke with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu today and discussed the shooting in Washington, D.C. that left 2 Israeli embassy staffers dead. Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said the president is outraged and saddened by the deaths.
The evil of anti-Semitism must be eradicated from our society.
Leavitt said the president and Netanyahu also spoke about progress on a nuclear agreement with Iran and said the president believes it's moving in the right direction. Karen Travers, ABC News, the White House.
Changes could be coming to security protocol at Milwaukee City Hall after that evacuation last week.
I don't have any confidence that we are prepared.
It was only a slammed door, but perceived gunfire at the Zeidler building prompted the City Hall complex to be evacuated, and it led to a lot of confusion.
It was just a lot of conflicting information.
I had to alert my assistant to tell her to stay in the office and lock the doors.
Council members at a Public Safety Committee meeting Thursday asking for more concise information, and Public Works head Gerald Kreschke says they can incorporate more email, text alerts, and voice alerts.
That's what should have happened, and it did not.
Eric Bilstad, WTMJ News.
The parents of a Cudahy student accused of bringing a gun to school in his backpack last month charged today. Nan Bin Li and Xiaoping Wang charged with leaving a loaded gun in reach of their 12-year-old child. They face 30 days in prison if convicted. The student also faces several felony charges, including bringing the 9mm handgun to Lincoln School. A student alerted a school resource officer about the gun in the student's backpack.
As Milwaukee Public Schools, MPS continues its lead remediation, City Health Commissioner Dr. Michael Todoridis is sounding the alarm on lack of federal support.
2 months after CDC lead experts left Milwaukee, Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. claimed at a Senate hearing that the agency was still involved in the MPS lead crisis.
We have a team in Milwaukee, and we're working with the Health Department of Milwaukee.
But Health Commissioner Todoridis refuted that, telling CBS Evening News on Wednesday he hasn't heard from the CDC and that federal support for local health departments is declining.
We are going to be in a very difficult position as public health leaders across the country responding to the mandates that we hold to protect our jurisdictions.
Sean Brinda, WTMJ News.
The National Weather Service officially confirms 15 tornadoes in Wisconsin from last Thursday's storms. The 2 strongest hit Juneau and Mayville in Dodge County, both rated as EF2. Both storms had a peak wind of 120 miles per hour, tracking a total of just over 20 miles on the ground in both communities. 4 additional EF1 tornadoes reported in Dodge County. No one was injured in Wisconsin from any of those storms. Time for news about your money. WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Pretty good day going here with about an hour and a half left here until the closing bell. About an hour, we'll call it. The Dow at 181 in the green, 42,041 for the Dow. NASDAQ is up about 175 today at 19,046. And the S&P 500 up about 30 at 5872. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Financial planning at every level. For details, visit AnnexWealth.com.
The Packers OTAs are right around the corner. Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Outdoor Living Unlimited WTMJ News Time is coming up on 2:05.
Hi, I'm Rose Gray with Fox World Travel, and I'm excited to share that our exclusive guided Alaska land and sea journeys are now available for 2026. We partner with Holland America Line to curate the best and most sought-after experiences to Alaska. We send hundreds of travelers from Wisconsin to Alaska every year, along with experienced Fox tour managers for peace of mind. Don't just picture Alaska, live it. We have limited spots, and these tours are booking fast. Visit Fox World Travel online or call 866 Go Fox Go.
The countdown to summer is on at Heiser Automotive. And guess what? You're getting employee pricing on new Ford and Lincoln vehicles. But wait, we are making it even better. Get double the employee discount on remaining new 2024 models. Yes, more savings equals more fun. And with our exclusive Safe and Sound experience, you'll get roadside assistance for life. Whether you're cruising to the lake or hitting the open road this summer, we've got your back. Don't miss these deals. The summer fun starts at Heiser. Visit HeiserFord.com today.
See viewer for complete details since 5/31/2025.
What do your favorite vacation, investment portfolio, and backyard all have in common? The perfect theme for your next call to Outdoor Living Unlimited for a new dream backyard. Outdoor Living Unlimited can bring your best vacation to your backyard and show you what a worthwhile investment back into your own property can look like. New deck, outdoor kitchen, screen room, and a must-see automated pergola? Let Outdoor Living Unlimited design your new space, build your new space, and you can relax in style at home. Find us at OutdoorLivingUnlimited.com.
At Blaine's Farm and Fleet, we've been family-owned for 70 years, helping Midwest farms and families make the most of their money. So you can trust we'll always have the supplies you need at unbeatable farm and fleet prices. Like select Balin cattle or hog fencing. Rewards members save $3 a panel. Assorted Hillman hardware is 15% off. And new at Blaine's, 50-inch Cub Cadet steering wheel controlled zero turns are now in stock. Find value on the things you value. Blaine's Farm and Fleets. Be an original.
Time for WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports desk. The Brewers in Pittsburgh, hopeful to begin a 4-game series with the Pirates tonight.
We're having a plan, potentially for a doubleheader tomorrow as well. But, you always got to go into the day trying to be prepared for that day. And so we'll be ready to go. But right now it's not looking great at the moment.
Brewers GM Matt Arnold appearing on Wisconsin's Morning News. Coverage of tonight's games scheduled to begin at 5:05. Brewers back home for a Memorial Day series, 3-game series against the Boston Red Sox. Quarterback Jordan Love of your Green Bay Packers will throw out the first pitch on Memorial Day. Packers begin organized team activities May 27th in Green Bay.
Check Checking out the roads with your WTMJ time saver traffic. One thing I want to alert you to in Milwaukee County because it will lead to some lane closures. 4194 north at Elm Road. There's some debris in the road. They've got to get crews out there to clean it up. Once again, this is 4194 north at Elm Road. Due to some debris in the road, they need a crew to clean it up, and when that happens, you will see some lane closures. So just a heads up there. Also, I-43 north at the ramp from 45, US 45, Highway 100. Right shoulder is blocked due to a car that's broken down. 41 is still a mess in Milwaukee County with the construction. Nothing new there, but starts around Mill Road this afternoon and goes all the way down to the Mayfair area. And also a heads up, this has since cleared, but I know some of you saw it, and we brought it to you as some breaking traffic news. I-94 northbound, just south of 195 in Kenosha County, was temporarily closed right around when we started our show at noon today. It was part of an ongoing investigation resulting from a traffic stop, and we do know from the Kenosha County Sheriff's Office, we have confirmed that several individuals were detained. It looked like I could kind of see when looking over at the cameras that they had stop sticks out there, so you knew something was going on. There were squad cars all over. I know a handful of you texted in and saw it as well. So just to give you an update here, a number of individuals were detained in that incident by the Kenosha County Sheriff's Office.
Traffic is sponsored by Capri Community's Enjoy Life Active Aging Symposium. Live life to the fullest at Capri's Enjoy Life Symposium on June 4th. This free event for older adults includes speakers, exhibitors, activities, and more. Register at enjoylifesymposium.com.
54 degrees the high today, partly cloudy skies, actually mainly cloudy skies, over at low 37. Partly cloudy on Friday with a high of 60. 63 the high on on Saturday. 64 the high on Sunday. No rain in the forecast for the next several days. That's the good news. 50 degrees and cloudy in Milwaukee at 209.
Live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios in downtown Milwaukee, it's Wisconsin's Midday News, making stories come to life. Now, here are your hosts, Greg Matzek and Jessica Tighe.
2 hours down, 1 to go. It's Wisconsin's Midday News for a Thursday. It's not Friday, though Jessica thought it was Friday when
it just feels like it's Friday all day. And I'm not the only one.
Hey, sometimes it is. Maybe you're getting your holiday weekend started a little early. Maybe it is your Friday. And if that's the case, we want to make sure your travels are easy. So traffic reports here throughout the hour. And, of course, the top stories, things that we're following at 2 o'clock.
Here's your top 2 at 2 on Wisconsin's Midday News.
Number 1, a visitation of remembrance. That's what they're calling a service now set for the UW-Platteville student who was shot and killed inside a dorm this week. The visitation for Kelsey Martin is next Friday in Beloit. That's Martin's hometown. Meanwhile, we're also learning more about the 22-year-old. Martin was a 2021 graduate of F.J. Turner High School. She had just graduated summa cum laude from Platteville over the weekend. Martin was very smart, a member of the National Honor Society in Psychology and the National Society of Leaders. She was also the assistant residence director at Wilgus and president of the Psychology Club. Her plan was to pursue a master's of social work at the University of Wisconsin-Whitewater in the fall. She had just so much of her future ahead of her. Martin was also described as compassionate, caring, and someone who enjoyed helping others. She was also an avid Marvel fan. Martin's obituary says she was the sweetest and a true ray of sunshine who will deeply be missed. She was everything good in the world, it said. Police say Martin was shot and killed in Wilgus Hall on Monday. She died after being rushed to UW Hospital in Madison. Investigators say the other student involved, 22-year-old Haley Helms of Baraboo, died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. No word yet on a possible motive.
Well, 2 people are believed to be dead after a small jet crashed into a San Diego neighborhood this morning, causing homes and cars to catch on fire. ABC's Alex Stone is in Southern California.
Firefighters are calling it a miracle. Everybody on the ground appears to have gotten out with relatively minor injuries. The deaths were to those on board the plane. The plane crashing before 4 a.m. with people asleep in the homes, and everybody got out of the homes alive. San Diego Fire Assistant Chief Dan Eddy.
We had multiple cars on fire with the house on fire behind us as it was going down the street.
Just before the crash, the pilot had asked air traffic control for a weather update and was told visibility was low. The pilot responded he would attempt a landing. Alex Stone, EBC News.
This essentially just crashed into a residential neighborhood. I mean, it's crazy. Just think about a subdivision or a neighborhood out by where you live, and an airplane which seated, they estimate 8 to 10 people could have been aboard that plane. Not a huge plane, but nonetheless, it strikes. It's 4 a.m. the dead of night, you're sleeping, and all of a sudden your neighborhood is on fire.
So
It's just
scary.
an incredible scene, and they're still working to try and clean things up. And some of these homes are permanently damaged. At least 2 fatalities at this point. Authorities saying multiple people dead after this small plane crashed into San Diego military housing neighborhood. That's kind of how it's set up. It's military housing, but it's a neighborhood.
That had to be so scary for the people in the neighborhood. I imagine some of the people were awake even at that early time. You've got some extra early birds, and then the people who are just all of a sudden waking up because they hear this crash, and then the people on the plane, my goodness. You've got a Cessna like that. You would hope that if there was an issue happening that you might be over a field where you could land. Certainly not a neighborhood with all those homes.
The FAA is saying the plane was a Cessna C550 made in 1985. Again, a smaller plane. You're talking about 8 to 10 people, potentially your max capacity aboard that plane. Alex will have more throughout the day here, and we'll have it for you on WTMJ. It's 2:13 all week long. Steve Scafidi has been honoring service members. His yearly salute to service. We'll honor another one after this.
What if you could lose up to 1 pound of fat every single day? At Milwaukee Weight Loss, they've got the secret, and it's helping people shed serious weight fast. Hey, it's Steve Scafidi from WTMJ. I've been on the Milwaukee Weight Loss program since January and currently in the maintenance phase after losing, get this, 40 pounds. It was fast, easy, and safe. And I'm sticking with the incredible team at Milwaukee Weight Loss to keep the weight off. Their doctor-developed, easy-to-follow program helps people lose weight naturally and safely with no drugs, no risky injections, no meal kits, no shakes, no exercise required. It's not just about losing weight. It's about resetting your metabolism to keep it off for good with personal coaching every step of the way. And guess what? Their program costs up to half as much and works up to twice as fast as most other programs. Many clients lose 20 to 30 pounds in just a month or two, up to 1 pound of fat a day. Book your free consultation now at MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com or call 262-449-1180. That's MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com.
Hey, my friends at Siding Unlimited have done it again. Let me tell you about it. Pella has recognized Siding Unlimited once again as their National Pella Platinum Premier Certified Contractor of the Year. What does it mean? It means Siding Unlimited is the best installer of Pella products in the country. Simply put, it's a national award and earned by Siding Unlimited. And they go above and beyond when it comes to beautifying your home's exterior. Windows, doors, roofing, siding, all top-notch products and incredible installation teams. After-sales support is there as well with Siding Unlimited. Have them do for you what they've done for us. They single-handedly expanded our living space with a beautiful paver patio with a pergola, gas fire pit. We absolutely love it. And when the weather's nice, that's where you'll find us when we are at home. Siding Unlimited has done it all for us. They'll do it for you as well. Bring some thoughts and ideas, some pictures maybe out to their showroom in Brookfield, 665 Leary Courts, where you'll find Siding Unlimited, or begin the process online. Visit sidingunlimited.com.
Home practice is about to begin. Your daughter's new tap shoes? Loud. Your son's new tuba? Louder. But you got this. Just like Associated Bank's got you with $50 overdraft Greystone. So if you lose track of expenses buying some noise-canceling and sanity-saving headphones, we've got your back. You got this with $50 overdraft Greystone from Associated Bank. See AssociatedBank.com/checking or ask a banker for details. Member FDIC.
Cool temperatures, 54 the high, 37 the low overnight. Tomorrow we get a little warmer, up to 60 degrees under partly cloudy skies. 63 the high on Saturday, 64 the high on Sunday. Partly cloudy throughout the weekend. Doesn't look like any chance of rain, which is good news. 50 degrees, mostly cloudy in Milwaukee at 216. Well, this week is Hero Week on Steve Scafidi's Salute to Service, presented by Waterstone Bank. WTMJ's Point Taken, honoring 6 different public service employees who went above and beyond for their communities.
Today, we're honoring 2 firefighters. One Milwaukee firefighter who got trapped in a house while trying to save someone inside, and the firefighter who helped save him.
Hello, I'm Chief Aaron Lipsky, Milwaukee Fire Department. I am nominating Lieutenant Ben Baus and firefighter Ryan McMenamin. April 14, 2024, right around 5 in the morning, report of a house fire on South 8th Street. Companies responded in. They found one house very well involved in fire that appeared to be vacant. That fire quickly spread to a house to the north and a house to the south. We were able to quickly evacuate people in the house to the north. However, there were some folks that had trouble getting out on the house to the south.
Me and Captain Lashinsky were tasked with going into that house to get all the occupants out of that house.
They removed one individual off the first floor.
I started to walk him outside. He said that his wife, who was disabled, was on the second floor, and Captain Lashinsky said that he was going to start to make his way up there and start to work to get her out.
At this point, the building is starting to clearly be attacked by the fire from next door.
The conditions were not in our favor.
What folks might not understand is when we arrive and now there's 3 buildings involved, we're outmatched right off the bat.
Captain Lashinsky was having issues getting the patient out. He ended up falling down a flight of stairs, trying to maneuver her out and around stuff that was piled on the stairs. I started to go up, and I almost had hands on the patient, and they both started screaming, "We gotta go, we gotta go." As I started coming back down the stairs, I noticed that I had fire coming up above me in the stairwell, and I was able to basically retreat to the front of the house on the second floor. The window that was there was boarded up, and due to the burns that I had sustained on the first floor, I didn't have much dexterity with my hands, and I was able to call for help.
I was in radio communication with them leading up to the event. What Ryan did on that day was nothing short of incredible.
It was the relying on the training that I've gotten to be able to react that I think was what truly saved my life.
Ryan's ability to remain calm, answer questions on the radio, lead us to him, gave him his best chance of survival, allowed us to execute a rescue and help him out. And once I got to him, it was just a huge sigh of relief to see him. There's a lot of other firefighters on this job that could have been put in this position. This may not work out the same way.
I was transported to St. Mary's Hospital. They said that I had 23% burns. I had 3 surgeries for skin grafts. I spent 27 days at St. Mary's Burn Unit and had phenomenal care from the staff there. They were amazingly wonderful. My family, my girlfriend, both of our families jumped in and helped out every day. But the fire department I had probably more visitors than the rest of the hospital. It seemed like every day there was probably 30 to 40 people that were coming up. The attitude that they brought was contagious.
About 8 months after his injuries, Ryan McMenamin returned to full duty. He's back on the south side, aboard Engine 23. Ryan, thank you so much for your dedication, for your heroics, and your service. Ryan, please stand and be congratulated. Thank you, Ryan.
What does salute to service mean to you?
It means a lot. I'm very honored. I stood several years ago and put my hand up and said that this was the job that I was going to do, and people shouldn't expect anything less. So I'm very honored. I think it's a great thing to recognize people and really kind of show people that go above and beyond. And Chief Lipsky and Lieutenant Bowes, I think, are examples of that.
And Bowes, what does salute to service mean to you?
Well, it's truly an honor to be sitting here, but to me, this is truly a representation for really our company. It's a privilege to work on Rescue 1. It's an honor and privilege to work with the men and women I get to work with, and the way that they showed out and worked on this day, it's just an honor to be a part of it.
Milwaukee firefighter Ryan McMenamin and Lieutenant Ben Boss on Steve Scaffidi's Salute to Service presented by Waterstone Bank. If you want to hear more or the past features that we've done here, text the word SALUTE to 855-616-1620. Text SALUTE to 855-616-1620. More after this. It's Wisconsin's Midday News on WTMJ.
Get the help you need from How To Radio, Saturday mornings on WTMJ. At 7, it's the WTMJ Fix-It Show with David Nason, featuring this week's guests, Dimension Design Build Remodel and CertaPro Painters. At 9, plan your dream vacation with the Fox World Travel Show. And at 10, get financial guidance during Money Talk. Contact Annex Wealth Management for an unbiased review of your investments at annexwealth.com. Saturday mornings on WTMJ. Day.
Save on the best quality furniture and mattresses during the Memorial Day sale at Ken Michaels Furniture. With major discounts from our premier suppliers, you will save big bucks on top brands like Bradington Young, made in the foothills of the Great Smoky Mountains. Bradington Young is known for its fine quality leather upholstery. Fjords brings you modern Scandinavian designed recliners and sofas, ergonomically engineered for more hip and back support. Norwalk, with American roots that go back over 100 years, specializes in making furniture just for you. Choose the piece, style, fabric, or leather you want, and in just 35 days, we'll deliver your new sofa, chair, or sectional. In stock or special orders are all sale priced. Need a little help putting it all together? At Ken Michaels Furniture, our design staff is ready to help you with your purchases. And it's free. Stop in today and save during our Memorial Day sale at Ken Michaels Furniture on Capitol Drive in Brookfield, Highway 100 in Greenfield, or our downtown Mattress Factory showroom.
Everybody was kung fu fighting. Those kids were fast as lightning.
All right, interesting pick here on the bump back from Gina. Figure out what that's all about later. Each year, the Sunday before Memorial Day, 33 screaming Indy race cars line up in rows of three before blasting across the Brickyard. It's the Indianapolis 500, right? Incredible event, Memorial Day weekend. Well, this year, before the professional drivers begin the chase for the legendary Borg Warner Trophy, rather unusual kind of race will occur at the famed oval circuit.
Oh, I'd love to be an Oscar Mayer wiener. That is what I truly like to be.
Time to get ready for the Weenie 500. Tomorrow, 6 of Oscar Mayer's iconic Wienermobiles, yes, there are 6, will hold a race of their own, each representing a different regional hot dog from the United States. The Weenie 500 will be the first time that all 6 Wienermobiles will be together in the same place for over a decade.
It's the first meetup of all 6.
M-E-A-T.
Meetup. You got it? They're going to haul buns to the Indy 500.
Hi-oh. The 6 Wienermobiles participating in the Weenie 500. The Chicago Dog, which I think we're familiar with. You've got the Slaw Dog. You've got the New York Dog, the Sonoran Dog, the Chili Dog, and the Seattle Dog. Are you familiar with any of those other dogs?
I wonder what's on the Southwest Dog. I feel like I could dig that one. Is there a little spice on that one?
Yeah, the Sonoran Dog is what you're talking about here. It's a bacon-wrapped hot dog.
I don't need that.
Grilled on a Mexican-style roll. You get pinto beans, chopped onions, tomatoes, mayo, mustard, and sometimes jalapenos.
Oh, I like the jalapenos, yeah. That's a lot. Bacon and mayo and pinto beans.
Yeah,
you need some like Maalox after that, right? Or is the Maalox before?
Driving the Wienermobile would not be what I'd choose to be doing after eating a Sonoran Dog. I was not familiar with the Seattle Dog. That's a hot dog served with cream cheese and grilled onions.
Oh, interesting. See, I just don't need like cream cheese on my hot dog. Give me the ketchup. I like mustard on mine too. Onions, relish, all of that. Jalapenos would love that, but I don't. And I love cheese. I mean, sometimes after work, you don't know this, Greg. Sometimes I'm so hungry.
Yeah.
I go home and before I even make dinner, I just have a couple slices of cheese. I mean, I love cheese, but I don't need that kind of cheese, cream cheese on a hot dog.
Okay, it's a little rich, right? Yeah. It's a little rich. All right, if you're going to pick a Wienermobile to drive here, I was looking at Potawatomi Sportsbook. You cannot bet on this. Are you taking the Chicago Dog, the Slaw Dog, New York Dog, Sonoran Dog, Chili Dog, or Seattle Dog? Who's your
Well, the Slaw Dog
weenie
sounds slow, so I'm not taking that one. I'd go with the Midwest one. The
Chicago
local
Dog?
roots.
Okay, so the Chicago Dog.
Yeah.
No ketchup on a Chicago Dog. You get the...
I just thought you meant which one do you want to like win the race? Forget eating it.
Oh.
Which one are you taking?
I'm going to honor the Midwest here. I'll go with the Chicago Dog. I like the neon green relish and tomatoes and sport peppers. A little bit of celery salt.
We had that neon green relish at WTMJ Day at the tailgate party. I'd never seen. It looked like Ecto Cooler relish. It was wild.
It's good. It's very good. So yes, the Weenie 500 will be taking off this weekend. First time that all 6 Wienermobiles will be together in the same place for over 10 years.
I wonder what all the license plates are. You know how each of these have different license plates? One I know is Oh, I Wish, because I saw that one in real life. But I don't know what the other ones are. I'm sure one's Wiener, right?
Well, I hope so. Wiener 1, Wiener 2, Wiener 3, and then Wiener 4, 5, and 6? Can you go simple?
No.
You can't?
Oh, I Wish is one.
Oh. All right, perhaps.
I'm going to look that up.
Well, get ready for the Indy 500 with a little prelude called the Weenie 500.
WTMJ's Eric Bilstead here for Tri-County Contracting. We talk all the time about Tri-County Contracting, the place to go for roofs and siding, but don't forget, Tri-County Contracting also does windows. Need a new front entry door? Tri-County Contracting, or maybe a patio door that's always jammed. Get your free estimates today. They've been helping homeowners like you for 46 years. Tri-County Contracting, WI.com. It's worry-free roofing, siding, oh yeah, and windows. Tri-County Contracting, WI.com.
We've all experienced that feeling of lacing up a brand new pair of shoes.
And for some reason, it always felt like new shoes made you run faster, jump higher, and of course, look better.
Yeah, it was almost magical.
A brand new set of tires on your car or truck will instantly give you that same magical feeling.
Courtney, I couldn't agree with you more. A new set of treads always makes your vehicle look better, but more importantly, allows you to stop faster and grip the road a whole lot better.
Which is necessary when the weather is bad and driving conditions are poor. You'll appreciate having the extra traction.
Remember, there isn't a tire brand on the planet we can't get.
Everything from Goodyear Continental and Kelly to Dunlop General and Pirelli. If we sell it, we install it.
Plus, every tire we sell automatically comes with free flat tire repair. So be safe, buckle up, and hey, always make sure you've got good tread on your tires. I'm Brett Matchke with Richlands. You're due for service.
Such a refreshing change. Richlands.
For those with a warm weather passion, try St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores, because that's where you'll find a vast array of men's, women's, girls, and boys' warm weather apparel at the friendliest prices. So many choices, and at such a value. You can fill the closet without draining your wallet. Shop warm weather fashions at St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, and 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
Wisconsin's Morning News is here for you every weekday morning starting at 6 a.m. Vince Petrano.
State of emergency in Mayville, Dodge County, the morning after. Severe weather, including at least one tornado ripped through there.
Eric Bilstad.
Mistaken gunshots prompt a heavy police response and frustration in downtown Milwaukee.
And traffic with Debbie Lozica.
We have an accident now, 43 northbound the Rock Freeway.
The news you need to know. Wisconsin's Morning News on WTMJ.
It's 2:30. I'm Greg Matzek. This is Wisconsin's Midday News for Thursday, May 22nd. Your top story, a second death at the Milwaukee County Jail this year.
I'm Jessica Tighe, denying his appeal for the third time.
Partly cloudy and chilly, overnight low of 37 degrees, up to 60 degrees on Friday under partly cloudy skies. A little cooler near the lake. Saturday, partly cloudy with a high of 63. Sunday looks very similar with a high of 64 degrees inland. No rain in the forecast here for the next several days. Drying out a little bit after the last couple of days. 50 and cloudy in Milwaukee.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. In San Diego, at least 2 people are dead after a plane crashed into a military housing complex today. The Cessna was not far from the airport. Officials say fire damaged cars and homes. 8 others were injured. San Diego Assistant Fire Chief Dan Eddy.
Some of the injuries were people that were on the ground. All the injuries that we treated were people that were treated at the evacuation center. There was no one transported from scene.
Eddy says it's unclear how many people were on board the plane, and the cause is under investigation. The NTSB also on scene. A suspect is in custody, investigators say, responsible for the double murder of 2 Israeli embassy staffers last night, shot and killed outside an event at the Capitol Jewish Museum. President Trump condemned those killings. A Brooklyn federal jury today convicting Svetlana Dali of stowing away on a New York Delta flight to Paris. Dali testified in her own defense, telling jurors she did not have a boarding pass when she walked onto that flight. Dali still faces sentencing. This is ABC News.
Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News time is 2:31. An inmate at the Milwaukee County Jail is dead following a medical emergency. Just before 8 o'clock Wednesday night, a corrections officer alerted to a man who was unconscious. Despite life-saving measures, the inmate died about 30 minutes later. The 33-year-old man had been in custody since late November on a single felony charge for possession of methamphetamine. This is the second inmate death at the jail this year.
The latest appeal from the man featured in the Netflix documentary Making a Murderer is denied. Stephen Avery filed a third petition for review to the Wisconsin Supreme Court asking for a new trial. His defense team argued they could establish a third-party suspect in the case. The Supreme Court upheld an appellate court ruling calling the new evidence speculative. Avery is serving a life sentence for the 2007 murder of photographer Teresa Halbach in Manitowoc.
Milwaukee Public Schools at risk of losing more state funding for, once again, being late with their financial reports.
DPI officials say MPS had until May 16th to provide information on its 2024 fiscal year Auditor Aid certification and Auditor Fund balance, as well as the 2024 fiscal year annual report. Already $16 million in state funding for special education is being withheld from last year. DPI says if both reports, including the 2024 fiscal year audited financial report, are not delivered by May 30th, or state financial aid will be withheld. Shaw Brenda, WTMJ News.
Does new MPS Superintendent Dr. Brenda Caselius need more time to get the district in order? MMAC President Dale Koinka says if the district were a Fortune 500 company, people would be in jail.
If a public company just said we're going to miss earnings, like they would eventually, their stock would go down. They would be delisted. There would be criminal charges possibly from the SEC and or civil fines and prosecutions. So yeah, if this is a public company, there would be a massive loss in wealth and market cap. There would be civil and criminal actions taken by the SEC.
The final deadline for MPS to submit financial information to the state is next Friday.
Wisconsin could be the next state to pass a ban on cell phones in schools. The bill, awaiting a vote in the Senate, sets a baseline of minimum restrictions. Wisconsin Policy Forum Communications Director Mark Sommerhauser on WTMJ.
It would essentially codify for all districts a policy that the majority of districts already have adopted, which is that students would be able to bring their cell phones. They would be able to use them in common areas of the school, but they would not be able to use them in the classrooms during instructional time. Districts could go more stringent than this law if they wanted.
Sommerhauser says a majority of adults support some restrictions, but public opinion does not favor a full-on ban.
STW is next. Sports, traffic, and weather. Outdoor Living Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 2:34.
It's Debbie Lazaga, and I'm so excited because Kohler Services just transformed my old bathtub into a beautiful new Luxstone shower. Kohler Services made it so easy. They came to my home and helped me design my custom shower, and they hauled away my old tub. Stephen, Luke, and Will were focused and professional installers. I'd recommend them to anyone. You can request your free quote for a custom Kohler Luxstone shower by visiting KohlerServicesWI.com. That's KohlerServicesWI.com.
Politics, work, daily stressors. Let's take a break from all that and get centered, Christ-centered. I'm Pastor Tim Butker. Join me each week for Christian Crusaders, a broadcast that highlights the gospel, the good news of Jesus, and our belief in the authoritative Word of God. Christ-centered, gospel-oriented, Bible-based, Christian Crusaders. Please join us Sundays at 6 a.m. on WTMJ. We'd love to have you worship with us.
Hey, WTMJ's John Merck here. The paint on the outside of your house is the first impression that people have. CertaPro painters painted our house and did great. They moved the planters around. They moved the grill out of the way. The little things are important to CertaPro painters, and they always get it right. Schedule the outside of your house to be done. A free estimate at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C for your home or your business. The details matter to CertaPro painters. They do it right the first time. They clean up after themselves. They leave your property better than it ever was. Each CertaPro painter is independently owned and operated.
From the biggest stars to the greatest moments, Behind the Bucks is Bucks history like you've never heard it before. Go behind the scenes of the Emmy-nominated Giannis documentary. Get the real story of the blockbuster trade for Damian Lillard. Hear the origin of Bucks in 6. It's all on Behind the Bucks on the Bucks Plus audio network, presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. Available now on bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, and wherever you get podcasts.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports Desk. Brewers in Pittsburgh for Game 1 of a 4-game series against the Pirates. Weather looking a little iffy out there. Here's what Matt Arnold had to say this morning.
We're having a plan, potentially for a doubleheader tomorrow as well. But, you always got to go into the day trying to be prepared for that day. And so we'll be ready to go. But right now, it's not looking great at the moment.
Coverage of tonight's game scheduled to begin at 5:05 on WTMJ. Brewers back home for Memorial Day to face the Boston Red Sox. Packers quarterback Jordan Love will throw out the first pitch before that game, and the Packers begin organized team activities the very next day, May 27th in Green Bay.
Checking out the roads with your WTMJ Time Saver traffic. I do want to let you know, in case you are leaving for Memorial Day weekend early, that we are seeing quite a few slowdowns. One is in that normal spot, 41 in Milwaukee County, where the construction is happening. I'll tell you what, the backup now starts a little bit after Good Hope Road, and then it goes all the way down to about the Mayfair area. And then on the flip side on 41, around the Mayfair area, that is slow from about Watertown Plank to a little bit past North Avenue. Also, in addition to that, 43, we are definitely starting to see slowdowns there. Basically, out of downtown Milwaukee, and then pretty much it clears up once you get past Keefe. But you know how that is. If you take 43, that can definitely be slow going. Other than that, we're looking okay. I-94 East, about 2 miles beyond the ramp from Moreland Road. Left shoulder is blocked due to a car that's broken down, but I don't see many problems there. Also, 4194 North, the ramp from Drexel Avenue, left shoulder is blocked because of disabled vehicle. Something wild that we had on Wisconsin's Midday News with traffic when the show started. I'll give you an update on that one. I-94 northbound, just south of 195 in Kenosha County. It was temporarily closed as part of an ongoing investigation resulting from a traffic stop. When I looked at the cameras, I just saw squad cars everywhere. It looked to be some stop sticks as well. Well, we checked in with the Kenosha County Sheriff's Office, and they confirmed that several individuals were detained during that traffic stop. So once again, this was on I-94 northbound, just south of 195. A traffic stop and several people detained.
Overnight low of 37 degrees. Tomorrow's high 60 degrees under partly cloudy skies. We get into the holiday weekend without any rain, and it's supposed to be dry here throughout the holiday weekend with high temperatures in the low to mid 60s. 50 degrees and mostly cloudy in Milwaukee at 239. Kind of crazy to look at the calendar here. Weather aside, it's been kind of a crummy last couple of days. But we're a month away from Summerfest beginning.
I cannot believe it. I was thinking about it because they had, what was it? I think it was on Tuesday. They had that deal where for some of the big concerts at American Family, they had, all in $30 for some seats?
Yeah.
So I kind of was eyeing some of those concerts. Didn't end up doing any of those. Might go to them, but not on that $30 deal. But yeah, I thought, wow, it's going to come up quickly.
Well, we missed out on this. I always like the opportunity to go sample some of the new food and just see what's new at the fest. They do a little preview day for the media to attend. We could not go, but luckily Eric and Vinny could.
All right, so we are on the stage at American Family Insurance Amphitheater. We are looking out. This is right where everyone stands, whether you're Lady Gaga or Bruno Mars or Pearl Jam.
Or Vinny and Eric.
Yeah.
Let's eat. Come on. Chef, what are you making here from Mater's?
Our new Summerfest presentation of our chicken of Guinness barbecue chicken. A little bit messy due to barbecue sauce, but everybody loves barbecue sauce in the summertime. That nice smoke rich flavor of the barbecue and a nice refreshing Guinness beer.
Eric and I are eating smashed cucumbers from Dan Dan.
These are super popular. I've had this before. It's got a nice little kick to it. This is going to be great when it's hot out. You'll love it. All right, so Dan here of Dan Dan, one of the Dans of Dan Dan. You remember him because he was on that TV show
of course.
That everyone was watching, right? Top Chef. Dan, you don't seem quite as popular this time around.
Well, it's 40 degrees outside, and we're serving a cold cucumber salad. So someone tells me we weren't really, planning this really great. Usually it's 80 degrees and sunny, and this salad goes off like a hit. But I see big lines for hot cousin sandwiches and mini donuts. Hey guys, donuts.
Donuts guy, Vinny and Eric here from WTMJ.
Hey, how you guys doing?
I bet you could use some weather like this during the run of the festival. This would sell great.
It works pretty good. Yeah. You want some donuts?
Yes, please.
Yeah, cinnamon sugar, powdered sugar, mix of both.
I think everything.
I was like a mix of both.
Mix is the way. Absolutely.
Is it possible to screw up donuts?
Yes. Yes, it is.
I mean, not here.
No, of course. No.
Greg, Eric here would really like to hear about pickleball being part of the festival every single day.
I've never heard Vince talk about pickleball once ever.
Oh, this is new, huh? Yeah.
It's a new sport.
it's going to be awesome. So we're going to have pickleball from noon to 8 every day of Summerfest this year. So besides the celebrity tournament, we're going to be there having open play. We're also going to have a bunch of classes. So be sure you take a look on Summerfest website for women, for children, beginner pickleball, everything in between. We're going to supply the paddles, supply the balls, and supply the teachers. So it's going to be a blast.
How about the shower?
No, that one is not in our realm.
I'm sure a lot of people would love to give it a shot, but don't necessarily know even where to buy a paddle or anything like that. So if you guys have all the stuff, makes it easier.
It's interesting you bring that up. So ProLite, we are actually sponsoring this event, and we are going to be down here selling paddles. So not only will we have paddles for you to use, but we'll be able to also answer questions about what type of paddle will be good for you, help fit you for a paddle, and if you want to buy one, we'll have them right here on site.
We're talking with Sarah Pancari, CEO of Summerfest.
We've got all this great food, all this great merchandise. We're really, really excited to get the party started for Summerfest 2025, which is only 29 days away from today.
Okay, what's not done yet?
Vince,
you can tell me. Come on.
No. I mean, things are getting done, right? Tickets are out in the market. We're so excited to be able to say that we've sold great on our amphitheater shows. We sold great on our BMO shows. We're continuing to see great interest in the lineup. The lineup is so good. I mean, I know you guys are excited about the lineup, right? The Killers, Lainey Wilson. You got Benson Boone.
These beautiful things that I've got, please stay.
Benson Boone, I mean, I'm assuming he's going to be doing flips off the stage, right?
I mean, I think Benson Boone's fantastic. He's come onto the scene. He's been a great add to our lineup. But, everything from Cake to Bone Thugs and Harmony.
Love Cake.
Right? I mean, Cake is it's a baby metal. I have family coming in for baby metal. You're right. It's all about the variety and the fact that you can walk in for $30 if you don't use one of our 12 free admission promotions.
Well, so Vince has a saying that he always gives. It's if you are going to Summerfest and you're spending
Why do
a
you
lot
get it
of money
wrong
for a ticket
every time?
No, that's
Here,
it. Wait,
you can trademark this. Ready? If you paid full price to get into Summerfest, you just didn't try very hard.
Well, I think that what's even more important is that you get to help the community. When you give food,
I meant.
Yes. let me rephrase that for you, Vince.
Thank you.
No. I mean, it's really, but you think about a nonprofit organization that's been able to cultivate this incredible lineup and this accessibility for 57 years. It's a really, really special story, and we believe one of one in the country. And it's really because our fans and our sponsors are so loyal, and we're so excited to see them in just 29 days.
So exciting. I'm ready.
Right around the corner, a month away. We will definitely be there. Not sure exactly what our programming is going to look like, but I would bet that we would be down there, just given the timing of our show when Summerfest opens.
I think we're going to be out there on Thursdays. But
Thursdays, or whatever the case may be. And looking forward to it. We had fun there last year, and we'll always have a lot of fun being at Summerfest, no doubt.
Yeah, so they've got a couple new vendors. Jamba Juice is going to be out there this year. Also, Nino's Southern Sides is going to be out there. But also a lot of new foods with even some of the vendors that you know and love. I was taking a peek at this. Even Cousin Subs, they've got the Big Bang Shake. I love that with the local flair to the name. And La Masa Empanada Bar, which is on Brady Street. I always say I give them kudos because for the last couple of years, I remember the first time I went to Summerfest and tried the empanadas there. I wasn't so sure because sometimes I love La Masa on Brady, but I think you go to a festival and not everybody can do it on a big level so well, right? Like, it's hard. Sometimes it doesn't taste as good as it does. And you didn't know if the empanadas would. And I was blown away because not only did they taste so good, but they were so hot. So hot. I was so impressed. So now it's like one of those places that I just always kind of go to. And sometimes it can be healthier. This new menu item is not healthy, but it's deconstructed s'mores empanada. Sounds good.
Oh, that sounds fantastic. That sounds fantastic. Yes, you will get all the sights and sounds of Summerfest. New drinks as well, like all sorts of good stuff you can sink your teeth into.
This one is a brand new one, just announced today. And hello, Wisconsin. This just reminds me of our Big Bloody Marys here. So just announced today, Johnsonville and Leinenkugel's are going to be unveiling the official drink of Midwest summer at Summerfest on June 21st. So they're giving festgoers like this exclusive access to what they're calling a limited time beverage. So what it is, you get a mason jar. You get to keep it. It's a souvenir mason jar of Leinenkugel's Summer Shandy, which has always been very popular at Summerfest. So you've got the Summer Shandy in the mason jar, and then they top it with a Johnsonville Leinenkugel's Summer Shandy brat and a Pretzilla sausage bun. And then they combine it with a pickle. You got a little pickled cherry pepper and a charred lemon wheel. I want a picture of that one.
Sounds awfully good.
$24.90, by the way, in case you're wondering.
Oh, geez. Okay. Well, there is a price tag.
It's not cheap. It's like one of those big Bloody Marys from Sobelman's where you get the chicken. Yeah, it's not cheap.
That's more of an experience.
Totally.
More of an experience.
Yes.
Enjoy your time at the fest, and we hope to see you there every Thursday. I think that's going to be when we will be there. That does sound right, but we haven't had our official meetings yet. We should lobby for more. It's 2:47 on WTMJ. Coming up next, whose kangaroo was it?
At Kendor Marine, we have everything you need but the water. For over 50 years, boaters have found that to be true. Because when they've needed that old part they thought they'd never find, guess what? They found it here, along with everything else you need to keep your boat out there on the water. This is Dave Doro, and boaters in the know exactly where to go. Kendor Marine, 57th and Ryan Road in Franklin.
Hey boaters, cruise to Kendor Marine. We got everything you need but the water.
KendorMarine.com.
Hey boaters!
Well, if you have an old boat, new boat, or in between, then Kendor Marine is a great place for you to shop. Because not only do we have all the parts and accessories you need for almost any kind of boat, we also have the expert advice that just about any boater is one day gonna need. I'm Dave Doro, and boaters in the know exactly where to go. Kendor Marine, 57th and Ryan Road in Franklin.
Hey boaters, cruise to Kendor Marine. We got everything you need but the water.
KendorMarine.com.
For 70 years, Geist has been the trusted garage authority in the state of Wisconsin. Greg Matzek here reminding you, do not let that busted garage door get you down. You make a call to Geist if you've got an issue, and they help you with that issue. Big or small, really doesn't matter. I had a very small project and just needed some weather stripping fixed. Not a difficult project. Not for Geist anyway. They came over, knocked it out, short order, and we're back up and running, in good shape. If you need a new door, need a new opener, you connect with Geist. Brands like CHI and LiftMaster are in stock, ready to go for you. They can even go the custom route for you if that's what your project requires. Geist will be there for you. For swift and reliable garage repair solutions, it's Geist. Don't think twice. Call Geist and visit geistdoors.com.
WTMJ's Eric Bilstead here for QC Kinetics. For more than 8 years, QC Kinetics has been the nation's leader in non-surgical relief for joint pain. You heard that right. Non-surgical relief. More than 50,000 patients who had knee pain, back pain, now living pain-free. Those with shoulder and hip pain, it's gone. The regenerative cell therapy restores tissues in your achy joints. Dr. Caravelli's team uses biologic growth factors with robust healing properties carefully and strategically placed in your joint. And there's no surgery. Remember that. It's a powerful and potent way to give your joints new life, repairing the old tissue. Here's what you do. You call today, 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474. Call QC Kinetics for your free consultation. 414-285-3474. Call QC Kinetics today.
It's time for unbeatable Memorial Day savings at Blaine's Farm and Fleet. Right now, find great deals on supplies to kick off summer your way. Like 1 cubic foot bags of Miracle Grow potting mix, $6.99. Get a free $15 gift card when you spend $75 on Hill's Science Diet pet food and treats. Plus, Friday through Sunday, all veterans and active military get an extra 10% off their entire purchase. Blaine's Farm and Fleet. Being original. In honor of those who gave the ultimate sacrifice, our stores will be closed on Memorial Day.
Overnight low of 37 degrees under mainly cloudy skies. Tomorrow, partly cloudy with a high of 60. 63-year high on Saturday, 64-year high on Sunday. Partly cloudy skies. No rain in the forecast here for the next several days. That's a good thing. It is 50 degrees and mostly cloudy in Milwaukee at 2:51. Wrapping up a Thursday edition, Wisconsin's Midday News. Greg and Jessica with you. Wisconsin's afternoon news in the bullpen. Police in Colorado captured a pet kangaroo that escaped again.
2-year-old Irwin the kangaroo is no stranger to Durango police. He had also escaped last year, but he was much smaller then and happily hopped into a bag similar to a mother's pouch. This time, Officer Shane Garrison had to corner Irwin in an alley.
Reached down, was able to pet him, and grabbed him.
Oh,
I get it. Yep.
We have the kangaroo detained.
Garrison grew up on a farm and knew how to handle Irwin, who is now about the size of an adult dog. It is legal to have a kangaroo as a pet in Colorado. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
I kind of feel like you should have started with that, but it's the second time this kangaroo has gotten away.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, this kangaroo likes to hop, pop, pop right on out of where it's supposed to be and hop into the neighborhood. So if this continues, it's going to get harder to catch this one because by age 4 or 5, so it's 2 right now. Right? So they could still kind of corner it, which it was amusing to watch the video of this because you have them corner this kangaroo and kind of grab it. It looks a little awkward, but they're walking out. And then the kangaroo's like kind of looking like, what are we doing? Where are we going? Trying to get out. But anyways, by age 4 or 5, kangaroos can grow taller than most men and weigh 200 pounds. And they can hop much faster than a person runs. So they've got to figure out why this kangaroo keeps on getting out, because at some point it's going to be taller than the people trying to rescue it. It's going to be able to run faster than the people who rescue it. And they can also deliver a powerful kick.
No doubt about that. So the testosterone that builds in male kangaroos, they're like Mack trucks. Like, just stay away, and they know what they're doing. It does not be a pretty situation. His name is Irwin, which I find entertaining. Apparently, it is legal to have a kangaroo in like 13 states. In one of those states is Wisconsin, and you don't even need a permit. This might be some old information, but I haven't made this up entirely. At some point, it was legal to have a kangaroo in Wisconsin without a permit. Do you have to have a leash? Like if your kangaroo is out of the house, is there a leash restriction?
I feel like a belt, a leash on a belt would be more appropriate for a kangaroo. If you are in Wisconsin and have a kangaroo or know somebody who does, we'd love to hear from you.
Okay, yes, we would. The talk and text line is always open for you at 855-616-1620. Not sure how many kangaroos are stomping on pennies, but another interesting story here. The Federal Reserve is saying no more pennies. There's a few that are going to trickle through the mint, but in terms of like 2026 and beyond, don't expect any new pennies to come through your currency system because it costs more than a penny to produce a penny.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
The Treasury Department said Thursday the U.S. Mint will stop producing new pennies once it runs out of blank templates used to make the mostly copper and zinc coins. The department says it made its final order of penny blanks this month. The retirement of a penny, first reported by the Wall Street Journal, is expected to save Treasury around $56 million a year in reduced material costs. President Trump in February criticized production of the coin as, quote, wasteful. According to Treasury, the cost of producing a single penny has more than doubled in the past decade, from 1.3 cents to 3.69 cents in 2024. Karen Travers, ABC News, the White House.
Not a surprise here, right? I mean, we could all feel like this was coming, but I guess now is the time. So is that official then? 2025 will be the last year of the penny? I wonder if any will be, none will be printed in 2026 then, right? This is it.
The penny has been a part of the American currency for more than 230 years. Think about that. I've got 6 pennies in my wallet right now. I had 6 pennies and a dime. Where'd the dime go, Greg? Oh, there it is.
I didn't take it. I can promise you that.
Penny for your thoughts. Isn't it so fun though? I mean, I have memories of the penny as a kid because my grandma. Didn't I tell this story for a different reason not that long ago? My grandma down in Kansas City, she had kind of in the kitchen area one of those old-fashioned red gumball machines. So I loved putting a penny in and then cranking it, and you get a gumball. And then she actually switched it so you get a malted milk ball out, which was just awesome. But kudos to, who was it? It was one of our fans in the 262 who wrote in, Lincoln, I've been thinking, what the heck have you been drinking in regards to the penny? You know that rhyme? I think it was a song.
Sounds good.
Greg's like, no, I don't know that one. It sounds familiar.
Well, I remember being on airplanes, and they used to have the oldest penny contest, right? You'd get something free, some sort of gift, maybe a little set of wings if you had the oldest penny on your long flight to Mexico or whatever. That. Interesting stuff. 2:55 on WTMJ, Wisconsin's Midday News out, Wisconsin's Afternoon News coming in. If you missed any of the program, check out the podcast, Wisconsin's Midday News podcast built by Siding Unlimited. Find it wherever you get your podcast. Subscribe and take us with you wherever you go. We're back tomorrow on a Friday edition of Wisconsin's Midday News.
Bikers need protection, not just from other drivers, but unfortunately from insurance companies too. If you've been injured in a motorcycle crash,